So hello everybody, this is the Political Matrix. I don't know if y'all know how crazy of a show, but we got a crazy show.
Been around the world and back again, right? You hear things, see things, but there's a lot of shit happening as usual, you know what I mean?
Hello everybody. Yeah, I guess you can kind of bring us in.
Oh, no, just going to say, what up, Marcus? What up to everybody watching? We appreciate it. It's another Saturday night. It's a quiet night for the most part. At least nothing major happening that I know or heard of. But you already know it's a Political Matrix, along with its host and founder, Marcus, young Morpheus Cage, and co-pilot, Cy Lawson, myself. We're here just to give you our usual Saturday night rundown where we cover, a whole plethora of topics from important stuff to not so much important. But, we're glad you're with us. There's a lot of other programs on Saturday, but, we feel like we're the most entertaining.
Yes, we do. And, glad, and I echo what Chris said. It's funny when he said co-pilot, it reminded me of something funny. He was like, I'm the one piloting this vessel. But, I don't know if y'all know that reference or not, but yeah, I think we're gonna have a little bit of fun. I got a couple of stories that a couple small stories to kind of get into, but I figured we're gonna kind of go into this whole I guess after effects of the election. I want to kind of go into some of the people who were out there, just way out there, who were massively predicting things that did not happen. Some after effects what happened to a couple of big channels. Well, they might call themselves leftists or something like that, so I'll just say slightly left of the Democratic Party. Democrats who try to claim they're not Democrats, basically. And then some of the freak out that's happened. Definitely want to talk about that. And then kind of go into some of the possibilities and some of the things which we think may look into. And we'll talk about all the different possibilities, the stuff that's been thrown out there, whether we will see that or not, what we will see. And so before we get into all that, I do want to just throw a shout out. I see Miguel is in here. Miguel is always in here holding us down nice and early, strong. I see Abby Do is out there. So glad to see you. Grapentine, glad to see you. And I see a couple of our friends. I see La Senora Chamonique is in the building. Case study. What's up, my man? Salute to you for all the wonderful things you out there doing. Peace Dove is in the building. Hamza, what's up? I see Rick Solis. Go ahead.
I'm going to say that, no, I just wanted to say this morning, I was using Case's videos. He put out a whole bunch of good videos this morning. So I just wanted to, I was going to shout him out anyway, but he just happened to show up. So, shout out to Case. The content he was putting out this morning was, it was extremely useful.
Yeah, honestly, without Case, I wouldn't even know some of these people. Like Abby Phillips. I didn't find out about Abby Phillips until the clip that was going around about the Zionist guy that was on there. And then Chris sent me one earlier today. But basically, I've only seen 2 clips of her show. I didn't even know she's had a show for some time on MSNBC. But who else? Yeah, Rick CNN. Rick, I'm sorry I didn't realize that you were following me on Twitter, but I saw it, so I made sure to follow you back. And yeah, anybody who follows me online, especially if you're from the show and you see I haven't followed you back, get at me. I'm not doing it on purpose, but there are so many damn bots on Twitter. I am a little skeptical of just following everybody back who follows me. So That's why it's not on some arrogant, I'm not going to follow everybody's stuff. So just wanted to put that out there. I see Wheezy is over here on the Rockfin side. What's up, my brother Wheezy?
Okay,
And of course,
Rockfin was good.
if you want to swing through Wheezy, definitely curious to see some of your thoughts. Curious what you're thinking about some of the election stuff. Um, I guess the first couple of stories that I wanted to kind of get into before we got all the way into the Trump stuff, Germany is having some elections issues. It is not looking good over there. It is not looking good. There's been some coalition issues clocking in being moderatorship. I appreciate it, Atras. You're always welcome. And that's right. And since you're in the area, you told me once you was gonna come down, you holler at me. We try to hook it up. But I know I'm bad about doing that anyway. Sorry to our boy Gregory. I am planning to still catch up with you again one of these days. So that said, yeah, Germany, it's looking kind of crazy over there. You got coalition governments falling apart. They're calling for new elections. It is a whole hot mess over there, and a lot of this is kind of kicked off with the whole Russia Ukraine stuff. When they decided to kind of hop on their knees for the U.S., they really kind of slit their own throats in many ways because they were very very energy dependent on Russia and they paid a price for that. And so I don't know, Chris, some of your thoughts before I just keep blabbing on and on.
No, I wasn't. I'm not even going to pretend to know that or pretend to know anything about what is currently happening in Germany. Actually, I just pulled up a BBC article while you were talking. I'm just like trying to skim through it. I see there's like a coalition that is like now fractured. Everybody's fighting, in the house, but over what, I'm not too sure yet. I didn't get to that part of the article yet. But it looks like what they say. Chancellor Olaf Scholz fired Finance Minister Christian Lindner, the leader of one of the three coalition parties, Wednesday night. Then it says two of Lindner's colleagues quit, and it broke apart the coalition government. So we'll see. It says they're trying to get together some fresh elections.
Yeah, when he fired Lindner's very powerful with a lot of factional allies. And when he did that, their beef basically was about some of the things which they wanted to do as far as the finances and different things that they want to do, certain laws and stuff. And a couple of sites I've kind of went into this kind of brewing beef that's been going on for quite a while. But once this came to a head, in a sense, he's decided, all right, cool. You wanna act like this, then I'll step away. And this is what happens more and more when you see these parliamentary type systems, which you have in a Germany, you have in a UK. Same kind of situation you have going on with Israel also. Which that's kind of funny how they all tie together, but the last thing I'll say kind of on the Germany situation, we'll kind of hold back and see. And of course, you guys, I will be following whatever happens with the elections. Shout out to Saul Good and Old Man Barker. Glad to see you guys in here also. And I think they say Yonina is in the building too. What's up, Yonina? But
Yonina,
go ahead.
In this BBC article here, it states Trump's victory is likely to mean less funding for Ukraine. So this is the BBC already looking at where this could potentially be going. Furthermore, it says Germany is second to the U.S. in financial support for Ukraine. So the onus may fall on Berlin to increase its financial aid to Ukraine. So this is obviously creating an issue inside of Germany the same way it created an issue here. And I think the most important thing to highlight is whether we're talking Germany, whether we're talking the United States, it seems as if the population has expressed deep opposition to what is going on here. And the politicians and the governments continue to do what they like. So not that we needed this. This is just yet another just another example of it. The governments are not subservient and they're not afraid of the populace. They're not even concerned about losing elections over this stuff. They, talking about elections, just think about it. If you were really trying to win and they're telling you,
Hold
hey,
on,
this
hold
issue.
on. Before we get in, before we go, hold on. I got one more thing that I want to throw out there before we get into, because I already know this is gonna open up a can of worms, and this is gonna get us just kick started down the road. So sorry to hop in and stop you before you got going, but because I know I'm gonna let you cook, I'm gonna let you do your thing, but I just wanted to throw out a couple of other stories. That got wildfires going on in Cali area. You got power outage right now in New Mexico, which Autris is talking about. And then there was these attacks that happened in Amsterdam. So I threw a whole bunch of stuff out there, a couple of news flashes. I put the link out to Wheezy, so he'll be kind of hopping in. But yeah, so sorry that little interjection, but boom, back to you. You can continue where you left off.
No, just saying that these elections, the politicians, they don't even care about winning elections because you have these things that are highly unpopular with the voting populace, and they continue to show you that they're not interested in these policies, but the governments worldwide continue. So it's not just here that has an issue. Clearly, it's worldwide, except for maybe one country, but you know how that goes.
Hey, shout out to Michael. I see Nahilo is in the building also. Um, let's see. Oh, Chris H says the quote unquote far left and far right in Germany are in agreement that this war in Ukraine
Mhm.
needs to stop and that it is harming their nation. It is a lot of that sentiment across a lot of Europe, but the problem is Europe is basically held captive by the United States. Um, they basically are going to do whatever the United States decides. So that leaves them in a problem. I mean, if you guys think about what was going on last year, even in the UK, they were having heating issues. I mean, literally, they were having like the library stay open 24 hours so that people who couldn't afford to run their heaters could come down to the library and get a little bit of warmth for a while. And I don't know how many people in the chat have been to the UK, but it gets fucking cold, like really cold. And so some of these things that have happened since this whole Russia Ukraine thing is massively affecting the European continent. And so it's going to be interesting how some of these things go. Like Chris just said, a lot of their populace is not on board with this. A lot of them are not happy with this, but they're being dragged into this stuff by their leaders. And we'll talk more about that. I mean, I guess we can go ahead start off with congratulations to um, President-elect Trump, who will be back soon. Um, and I guess Democrats and Kamala Harris. I wonder how much that now. I don't know Kamala Harris what she would do with any of the information because uh, she could be riding off into the sunset and being done. I don't see a strong possibility that she runs again, but hey, who knows? Biden ran what 3 or 4 times. Um, but I just don't see it after such a massive shellacking. Um, it turned out like it turned out to be way worse than all the polls were saying. And right now we're still waiting on final results on the House races. But if you look how the polls are looking in these House races, which are still out, because it's roughly about 20 or so, um, they're mainly, I want to say 90% leaning Republican. So it's a good possibility that the Republicans might be looking at a 240 to what is that? Like a what is it? 215 or whatever. I'm trying to get my numbers correct, but getting it mixed around in my head. Is it 430 435? But it's looking like it's going to be a slight Republican held House also, and so all three chambers will be on the Republican side, so they will be able to push through whichever legislation is on their mind for the most part. Of course, there is the some of that stuff you need a supermajority, but we will see how all of that goes. And it's just a matter of we'll see after inauguration who gets put into which positions and what gets pushed in a sense. Sorry for going on too much, but let me bring Wheezy to the stage before I hand it over. Um, from the What Is Truth podcast, one of our friends, colleagues, brethren, Wheezy coming to the stage.
What's good,
What's going
man?
on, y'all? What's going on, my friends, my lovely,
Man,
exquisite friends?
the same shit, different toilet. Can't call it.
Hell yeah.
All right. So I guess we'll bring Wheezy into the conversation. What is some of your thoughts so far, right after the election?
uh, I kind of had a feeling it was gonna play out this way with just the way the rhetoric, the energy, I guess you can say, um, the picks. Trump claims to be draining the swamp, but yeah, he's filling it up once again with J.D. Vance and Associates, a Peter Thiel puppet. It's
Mhm.
more of the agenda going to be played. Um, I don't, I don't particularly ascribe to elections. I believe they are selections, and so if the powers that be wanted Kamala to be in, you know, the head honcho, she would have been, but they chose Trump, and it's just funny with the numbers of the voting numbers. I felt like everyone was more energized this time around, and yet the numbers are lower than when he was going up against Biden.
Mhm.
None of it makes sense, but I kind of
Well,
anticipated
I think
this.
I think it makes sense. I think what we're seeing here, because that's where I slightly disagree. I don't really think that the selection is the two candidates which you see in front of you in the first place. That's the selection. They put up two choices, Coke and Pepsi, and said choose either one, which they know that they're going to be able to control either way. But they kind of, I felt like their hands are off where they were like, well, we don't care which one you pick because we got them both. So you guys have fun picking your Coke or your Pepsi. Um, I don't know.
I, I could vibe with that, but at the same time, it's just the way the tide was flowing, man. Uh, you had Elon Musk, and I attribute that to that fake assassination attempt. Um,
I
I,
think I would
you know,
agree that
people
did help.
people were saying, what would be the point of a fake assassination? There you go, man. What we saw on Tuesday, that's where you did. You saw Mark Zuckerberg coming out quoting the fight, fight, fight. You saw Elon Musk quoting the fight, fight, fight. You saw Joe Rogan endorse this clown, even though he said for many years that he would never platform Donald Trump on his show, and then he endorses him. So it set the stage up perfectly for that. Because even on when Rogan interviewed Trump, they brought up that Trump tried to get him on, and they were kind of having a little bit back and forth. And Rogan said, "No, it was right after you got shot that I wanted to have you on." So that set the stage up, and that's what came to fruition. And that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's the way I look at it.
I don't know, Chris. Hop in there because I know that you disagree with the whole with Wheezy. Well, myself and Wheezy on that it was a fake assassination. Kind of curious, your thoughts because you and Wheezy both saw it. Like I saw a possibility, um, and I've said for the longest that it leaned Trump. I just didn't know it was going to be as bad of a beating it was. And being in California, Weezy could tell you it is hard to get a tone on how it's going. from out here, because you're not necessarily seeing uh, kind of a swing state or a purple state kind of situation. You're seeing a heavily Democratic area or a heavily Republican area. And California doesn't have as many Republicans, so it's hard to judge it. But yeah, Chris, what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, there's a couple. Number one, again, the media just gave us even more reason with this election not to listen to them. They told us for weeks and days leading up to the election that this was going to be a very close and tight race. I've been saying on here for weeks that it was not going to be close. I did not see it tight. Not that I predicted it, but it was just I was listening to the narratives from people I was coming across. Again, I wasn't coming across very many people who were excited about Kamala, one, and two, the fear of Trump was not as high as it was in 2016, if you will, considering like how the media made it out to be. So I think with a bunch of other factors, I think that led up to it. And again, if you were just listening to the Democratic Party and their campaign, basically it boiled down to women's rights. And I don't know too much else what other call that they had. They weren't screaming tax cuts. They weren't screaming free healthcare. They weren't screaming Medicare for all. They weren't anti-war. It was, hey, he's going to take women's rights and he's an asshole, so we can't support him. So again, that was a losing strategy on that side of the ticket. On the other side, Trump was just consistent doing what he did. And if we look at the numbers, I think right before the show started, I was trying to look at the numbers. They're not all out yet. There's about 6 states that have not yet counted all their votes. But they said in the article, I think they said there's about 6 million votes left to count between these 6 states. What's up, Ruby? And Trump's numbers so far, I think he's like 100 or so more votes. 100, not 100,000, but like as in 100. I think he's only like up, not even 200 votes from where he was in 2020. So he didn't really increase the vote totals. I think, again, we have to wait for the 6 states, but I'm very interested to find out how much lower the number is for the Democrats, because they told us with Trump it was with Biden, that it was 81 million votes for Biden. And Kamala has 66 as of right now, 67, if you will. That still leaves 14 or 15 million votes left to count. But at the same time, they were running their headlines saying what? Oh, this is record turnout. This is record turnout. So if you're telling me it's record turnout, but one side is 15, 16 million less votes, the other guy didn't pick up 15. It's not like you could say, well, they all went this way. So where are those votes? Are you saying it's record turnout and people didn't show up? It's very weird. And again, I think it just only lends more credibility to the theory that 2020 was stolen. The Democrats had a really, really high turnout. And again, we have to wait for the final votes, the final numbers to truly, truly crunch this. But it's not looking good for the people who said 2020 was legit.
I would kind of disagree with that slightly. I think it just shows that more people decided to stay home. It was a lot of people who said they were going to stay home, and I just think that added to
turnout. So was it record? Because they were reporting, every channel is reporting, quote unquote, record turnout. So you can't say it's record turnout if we are short 15 million votes.
Well, what I'm saying, record turnout as far as probably early votes coming in, but the election day came and it was flat from there, and they didn't get that boost of Democratic same day voting that they were expecting, because a lot of people who said they were going to stay home stayed home. And I mean, I know that from 2020 to now, the amount of people who stayed home definitely increased massively. And you factor in how many were just not feeling anything that Kamala was talking about. I mean, like you brought up, all they did was talk about abortion. Abortion was the only issue. When, I mean, every poll that I saw, pre-election and post-election, said the economy was the number one issue. And so, if you're saying the economy is the number one issue and you're putting out abortion as your number one thing, then I mean, what do you do with that? And I think they shot themselves in the foot by not trying to do anything. They didn't. Kamala had no plan that stood out to anybody. If I ask anybody, like the average person, what was a Kamala plan that she was talking about? Biden can at least say he was going to free college. I mean, erase college debt and some of those other things. And some of the average voters knew that much. But with Kamala, all you knew was abortion. That was it. I don't know, Weezy, you look like you wanted to get in. Oh.
So I just looked it up as of right now. Sorry, Weezy. Right now, I'm looking at the AP. Right, they said Kamala has, and again, there's 6 states. They said there's about 5, maybe 6 million votes left to count. So again, it says there's 70 million, almost 71 million for Kamala. Trump is at 74 million. So is that 144 million votes?
Mm-hmm.
So again, we know the final numbers, and there's nothing anywhere that makes any sense regarding 2022. All the swing states, all fell to Trump. All of it. It wasn't even close. So again, they weren't able to stuff these ballots full with mail. They weren't able to stuff the ballots with the mail-in ballots this time. That's really what it is. And you can disagree with that. That's fine. Game, what's up? Hope you're feeling all right.
I just don't see how.
Anybody can disagree with.
If they were able to do it before and they still have control of a lot of these ballot boxes and stuff, why weren't they able to do it this time?
It's not COVID this time. There's no reason for you to have this abundant, there's no reason to have millions and millions upon millions of mail-in ballots this year, because people actually went out to vote and stood online, as opposed to how they did in 2020. So in 2020, you're not seeing people. You just, we got all these votes. We got all these votes. They were putting up barriers so people couldn't see the vote. It was just so many odd things that was going on with the 2020 election. There's no way that Biden got 81 million votes because Trump is such a threat. You ran on the same thing. Trump is such a threat. So all the people who were concerned about Trump being a threat in 2020 no longer saw him a threat in 2024, to the tune of 11, 12 million people just decided to stay home. Okay. That don't make any sense. None whatsoever. None.
I think where I disagree with y'all is that I think all these numbers is fake and gay. So whatever numbers they put out, they ain't gonna make sense because it's all manufactured, man. Look, that's just my thoughts on it.
Well, people really do. Well, it's not manufactured that people actually do get up and go and vote. That's not.
Oh yeah. I'm. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the outcome at the end of the day. It was clearly, and I agree with you that the whole tide was with the Trump tards. Excuse any Trump tards out there, but that's where the wave was going, and I just feel the whole system is in place for a Trump presidency, because I've been saying that you look at his vice president, JD Vance. He's a Peter Thiel puppet, man. That's going to bring in the surveillance state. And when you have a
We already
Trump
have the
presidency,
surveillance state. It's not bringing it in.
oh, it's going to enhance it. And the thing is, when you bring a Trump presidency, you're going to be able to pass a lot of these legislation actions that you wouldn't get away with if you had a Kamala Harris or a Democratic ticket. You know, all the shit that the conservatives are against now. But if Trump says let's go for it, they're all going to line up for it, man. They're not even going to dispute it because he's their hero. He's the man, and so he's the perfect candidate if you're the elites to put up in the throne.
Well, here's the thing. This is why I'm not too concerned. The Senate, the House Republicans, they're largely all Team Trump and everything he wants to do, right? So the House is gone. The Senate Republicans are not. Not all of them are. Not all of them are for his agenda, and a lot of them don't like him too. So they'll be there to screw him up and to stop him from doing some of the more crazier things he wants to do. You know, and not to say that they're heroes or anything like that, but Trump was, I think people tend to forget, he was already president. If we give an honest look back at his presidency, outside of the COVID nonsense, he pretty much was a standard Republican president, minus being heavy on foreign adventures. Other than that, tax cuts, regulation, other than that, what else was his thing? I mean, it was his turn to pick a judge. He was always going to pick a judge that the party threw at him for the most part. I can't think of anything that was too crazy that had any long-lasting measures.
I don't know. I just never bought into he was already there before. He didn't do this, so he's not. 4 years makes people different. Also, it was his first time in there. There was a lot of stuff that he had to deal with that obstructed things that he probably wanted to get into. I mean, if you got to sit there and you got to name 1,000 different appointees, that's not something that most people are expecting. And that's going to take up your time figuring out who you're going to put in place. And now the second time around, you kind of understand what's going on a little bit more. You're going to be able to cut through a lot more of the BS and get to whatever it is you want to do. Now, what that is, I don't know, but I don't just buy that. Oh, well, he's just going to do exactly what he did 4 years ago. I don't buy that.
I also don't buy that, he didn't know any better. And that's why he had John Bolton and all these freaking nefarious actors in his cabinet. And yet he's already flirting with the idea of making Mike Pompeo at the top of his cabinet, bro. All these people that saying Trump is anti-war, you put Mike Pompeo on that list. This ain't no anti-war administration any longer, bro. Mike Pompeo is pro-Israel up the wazoo. And I'm watching my language because I know you're on YouTube's, but
no, they all are.
They all are, bro. And one of the biggest myths that people said about Trump was, oh, he was anti-war. He'll get us out of war. They forget conveniently that he was flirting with war against Venezuela. He was flirting with war against Iran. Yeah. And you start shit with Iran, that starts World War III right there, bro. And that's what I'm concerned about. And you put in the Trump administration he's already fooled his followers into this is an anti-war administration. Then you start some stuff with Iran, bam, it all blows up and everyone's going to get behind it just like they did in the George Bush days. This reminds me what we're seeing right now.
Don't forget China.
Excitement. Exactly. This reminds me of the excitement right now from the right wing for Trump, and they're all happy. It's a new world order, as Elon Musk said on Twitter. It's a new beginning and all this nonsense. It reminds me of 2008 with the hope and change that Barack Obama promised. But this is the right wing flavor of it.
In regards to Iran, are we not on that path currently?
We are.
I think
Iran
what
is
we think,
already they're already engaged. They've already been engaged.
They ain't
It
engaged.
was only
They fighting back, bro. Israel started this nonsense, and Iran is
that's what I'm
fighting back.
saying. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. They've already
I,
engaged.
I think the
They've already
sentiment,
taken measures to
yeah,
defend themselves and to try to do some things strategically to try to protect themselves in the future. But I mean, I don't see where, as far as Iran goes, again, that's an American policy. That's not a
yeah,
Democratic administration policy. That's not a Republican um, administration policy. That is America's policy, is to beef with Iran. Again, the only difference between the two is how quickly we get to the finish line. Some might
no,
run it through and some might walk it through.
I think the point that was being brought up though is that he's not anti-war, that he's not doing something different. That he's not
It's
gonna
all a
get involved in
facade,
the war
man.
stuff. He's gonna do the same stuff that they're doing,
Same
foreign
shit.
policy
Same shit.
wise. If not, because here's another thing. Remember when those troops got killed in Chad under his watch, and he had to admit to it? That might not be a war, but you still are doing shit. You still are sending American troops into areas doing stuff.
He also sent the most drone strike. He sent more drone strikes than Obama did, and people forget about that. It's all nonsense when people think that this is an anti-war president and he doesn't want no beefs around the world. It's all BS. The fact of the matter is he wants to be a wartime president. Shit, during the COVID lockdowns, he called himself a wartime president, and people forget about that. People conveniently memory hole all these important things that he has said and done.
Yeah. Another thing that I would say is that one thing about him is he showed multiple times that he can change his opinion on a dime. He can say, I'm not going to do X, and then turn around and do it. I mean, just like how Kamala flip-flopped the whole campaign, he does the same thing, speaks out of both sides of his mouth. They both are equal. It's just he's more convincing that he's legit to
He's a
certain
salesman,
people,
bro.
but
He's a salesman.
but they're both doing the same damn thing, both lying out their mouth, both planning.
This is the guy that did Trump University. Trump University was a fake school, a fake real estate school that provided a diploma, and people thought that this diploma was going to help them climb the echelons of the business world, and it was all nonsense. They had to pay $30,000. The recruiters to that school were aggressively getting people to sign up and charging them $30,000, and then they were promised a picture with Donald Trump, which turned out to be a life-size cutout. It wasn't even Donald Trump taking a picture with him. It was a scam, and he paid $25 million for that goddamn scam, and this is the president of the United States. It's all a sham. It's all garbage. And then the thing is, I just did a show with John Brissom, and we were talking about all his Epstein ties. That is why I am anti-Trump. It's not because he says mean tweets. It's not because he says he borders the line on racist crap. It's none of that. It's because of his Epstein ties that always get brushed under the rug. And the left doesn't attack him on the Epstein ties, because if they attacked him on the Epstein ties, then people on the left would also go down, because Epstein messed with both sides. And that to me is the biggest critique. And then when you go down the Epstein rabbit hole, we all know who he was a spy for, man. It's the Mossad. Mm-hmm. And they all wear their little hats. He wore his little hat. He kissed that little wall. And that's the true masters of the United States. And some people won't want to admit that or want to go there, but that's the way I see it.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree. I don't know. I just feel like
I don't
sorry. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I just don't think we're going to see anything, at least to me, extreme. Right? I don't. Any escalation in the Middle East to me wouldn't be extreme. We're already there. So if it continues, it won't be like, damn, look what Trump is doing. It'll be, look what America's continuing to do. I mean, people, you mentioned Peter Thiel, but the only name we really need to know is Adelson, and that's who bankrolled his campaign. That's really the only name that matters. If we're looking at his Secretary of what is it? Not Secretary of State, Chief of Staff, that woman, just go look at her record. I mean, again, it's going to be all regular foreign policy. It'll be like neocon light, if you will, because the neocons just wanted to go everywhere. So neocon light says, we don't have to go everywhere, but we could go to like a lot of places. That's really the difference.
Let me posit this, because this is something that I've been thinking about. I hope I'm wrong. But I feel, especially with the elections going through without a hitch, everything was good, no January 6th type behaviors or anything like that. I feel a false flag is brewing, and the false flag that I've been talking about, and I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on this.
You already have one. 2020. I feel COVID. How much more? No, but
I feel there's going to be a false flag that's going to be pretty crazy, like 9/11-ish, and it's going to involve illegal immigrants. And you do that for a couple of reasons. Because the right is already
Sorry, Weezy, real quick. I'll let you get right back to it. They're already reporting that the plot that the FBI stopped to kill Trump was already done by somebody from Iran, and that they were targeting two Jewish students as well as Trump. So you could just from that headline already see where it's going. And again, that came from the FBI, not Team Trump. But go ahead.
Yeah, but that's all nonsense in my opinion. Iran, really, especially when the whole thing is fake and you're gonna blame Iran. That means you want to go after Iran.
Correct.
And so the what I see happening, unfortunately, and again, I'm not saying this proudly or anything like that, because if it does happen, it's not like I'm gonna be like, I told y'all. But especially with the rhetoric, it's always about securing the border, illegal immigrants this, illegal immigrants that. The rhetoric is setting up the stage for a false flag attack involving a lot of casualties, unfortunately, and involving illegal immigrants. And obviously the Trump tards is going to be like, hell yeah, we need just like everyone was all in on Iraq immediately after 9/11, everyone's going to be like, we need to do something against these illegal immigrants. And so people on the left that was kind of mediocre, kind of tepid on the issue, now they're like, damn, maybe we really do need to do something. And that's when they're going to roll out biometric IDs. That's a false flag that I see coming.
Here's the thing with that, right? We're always looking for something big on a micro level. On a micro level, some of these immigrants is already in these cities causing terror. They're already out here.
That's by design, brother. That's by design.
They're raping kids. They're killing people. They're robbing people. They're already committing. I mean, I guess maybe there'll be one big organized attack, but they're already creating havoc in the neighborhoods already.
Man,
so
are you
to the ones who get to the ones? No, because you know what? A lot of the times, people on the left, they don't like to deal with reality. They are not outside enough, and they very much hear things. If you take in a lot of media, you hear things, and it's like it's a trigger almost, where it's like, oh, that's right wing, or that's left wing, or that's this, right? I don't do that. I just like information. I don't care where it comes from, right? So what I'm saying is, yeah, we can feel bad for people and their hardships that the United States caused abroad and things like that. But in reality, okay, fine, you're here. What are you living like? What are you doing? Not all of them is just here getting jobs, putting their head down, just trying to assimilate and live their lives. There really are some criminals here. There really are some dudes that don't need to be here or need to be put down. That's not Trumpish. That's not right wingish. It's just a fact. There's these dudes here wilding out, just like there's regular Americans who are wilding out in the cities. Some of these migrants is coming here wilding out, and I'll keep it even more of a buck. Some of them is African, some of them is Hispanic, but not all of them is coming here doing what they supposed to do. I don't know why that's like a right wing thing. We got to be realistic.
I'm being realistic. I'm just not seeing all that. I mean, maybe I'm living in a different. I don't. You got to remember. I don't know what news that you're following. I don't know. You don't have to look at me like I'm trying to lie or make it like you're crazy. I'm not saying what you're saying is
I get
right or
saying.
wrong. I'm saying that I'm not what I'm taking in. I guess I'm not seeing all of this. I live in an area where I have no clue.
You live in a gated community.
No, fuck no, I don't.
And Miss Jones comes out with
you know what I'm saying is where I live in California, everybody in my neighborhood could be illegal or everybody could be legal. I have no clue. I'm not living in California, I have not seen an influx of anything. I can't tell. I don't know what the baseline would be. I moved out here in 2017. I don't know what's the right amount or not amount. I can't tell a difference. And so for me, all I can take is I heard somebody across the country talking about that this is happening, and then I'll hear some account.
My whole family lives in my family lives all in New York, and we're all immigrants, and everybody we know are immigrants, and the complaints are coming. So again, I know people in Philadelphia who have similar issues. People in Chicago have similar issues. Again, I hear it all the time. I don't spend my days listening to Alex Jones or right-wing people. Look, you can see it online from regular folks, and then plus people you know in your circle, people you work with, da-da-da-da. There is a legitimate problem. It's not just everybody saying
that, Chris,
that's what
that's you're coming across like you're feeling attacked, but I'm not attacking you. All I'm saying is I don't hear this. I'm not saying that that it's not happening. I'm not saying that at all. That's not the argument I'm making. I'm not even making an argument. I'm just saying I'm not hearing this. I'm not seeing this directly. There aren't people in my circle who are talking about any of this stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's for me, I don't see any of it. And so when I hear it, I'm like, oh, well, damn, that sounds like that sucks what's going on. But I don't see it. I don't hear it.
That's not your reality, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's not my reality. I don't have a circle group of people who live in New York and Jersey and Philly who are dealing with this. I don't have a circle group of people who I know in Chicago who might be complaining about issues and all that. My people in Kansas City are not complaining about none of that. My people who are in Texas, for them, everything has been the same as it's always been. Living out of Odessa and not Odessa, but Henderson. But in that area, in their area, that's not something when I talk to them that's something that they bring up or talk about. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying what you're saying. It doesn't exist, that you're making it up. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is it's not my reality. So it's not something that has been pressed upon me as an issue. Just like, I mean, there's plenty of topics there's plenty of stuff which you hear, you have different circle groups than I do. So you're going to be within the loop of different shit that I'm hearing. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
I guess where I come from it is I don't believe in terrorism in the traditional sense. I believe terrorism is manufactured and is trying to gain a certain outcome. Now, if we go based on what we see on social medias, like on my algorithm, sometimes I get young little black kids beating up the paletero, the little Mexican dude that's selling ice creams in the hood, and these little teenage black kids are beating his ass for his money. Now, if I go off of that, am I gonna say, oh yeah, we got a problem with all these black kids and shit? there's certain narratives that get spinned to pin us against each other, and so you always got to be watching out for that shit as well. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna go off of that and then go around saying, oh yeah, all these kids is like that. No, man, that's all a bunch of horse shit. That's what the algorithms want to feed us, man, because at the end of the day, I believe it's all meant to divide and conquer. And so you divide all these communities against each other, then you can't get any organized revolt or organized revolution at the end of the day.
Well, one, they bring in people, so there is not. It's easier to do things when there's just one demographic or maybe like a smaller sub demographic. When you start bringing in all these different cultures, obviously it means that it's going to be more difficult to build larger coalitions that actually have staying power, right? Right now, none of that really exists within the United States. Again, there are people who are coming here who are putting their heads down, going to work, living their lives, becoming taxpayers, even if they got here illegally. That's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is, in the hoods, when you're seeing stuff, when you're seeing people getting slashed and you're seeing they're turning whole blocks into brothels, and you see it is only illegal immigrants participating in this behavior, you should comment and say, yo, these dudes is wilding. And you don't have to call that punching down. You can call that being concerned about where you live. Why do you want this on your neighborhood? Matter of fact, if it was regular people, why do you want this? Right now, just the fact that they're able to do this so loud and they're getting money on top of it, it's just going to create problems in those neighborhoods. Me personally, here in Florida, where I live, in my particular part of town, I have not seen a huge increase where I live personally, right? So I can't say, well, damn, they really going ham over here. But again, that I'm not, just because it's not happening here, I'm not going to assume that it isn't happening in other places. If you just read the New York Daily News, which is not a right-wing paper compared to like the New York Post, even the Daily News is reporting this stuff. They were just the other day talking about the gang of kids that's running around robbing people in Times Square. This is a problem.
It sounded to me like New York is out of control overall. That's what it's sounding like.
By your logic,
it really is.
Haitians is eating cats.
But all right, yeah, Haitians eating cats.
No, well, my question
saying, like, but that can't be zero. That can't be zero. There has to be some Haitians eating cats. By your logic,
I'm sure there are. Yeah.
The question I would ask is, okay, regardless of what I'm seeing or not seeing, what is the probability that Trump does do a mass roundup and deportation and all that? I mean, and he says going to the sanctuary cities and stuff. No, I mean, of course they're always going to do I know they're going to do some, but I mean, is it going to be to this point of this mass roundup of millions of people taken out, or even close to that, hundreds of thousands? I mean, because honestly, I disagree with the numbers, Marcus. I disagree with the numbers that even that many people are coming in that they say, because it just doesn't add up.
Well, Marcus, that sounds like big government, and the Republican Party is always like, "Oh, we're about small government, guys. We're about small government." And every time I hear them talking about mass roundups and mass deportation, that sounds like some big ass government to me. Think about the database you got to get, all the boots on the ground, and then you got to track all these millions of people that you're talking about. That's a big ass government. The logistics behind it, that's some giant ass expenditures. So when people say that, I'm like, you ain't about small government. That's some big ass government project you're talking about right now.
I would agree.
But I found Thomas's comment, right? Thomas says he hears many FBA adults espouse anti-immigrant sentiments, especially from Africa, Latin America, blah, 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 right? If you go back even 2 years ago, the conversation amongst FBA and ADOS wasn't as anti-immigrant as it is now. Why is that? Is it only because Trump exists? Trump was talking about immigrants in 2015. Republicans have been talking about immigrants to us all for the last however many years. George Bush actually wanted to grant people amnesty, and his party had a conniption over that. I don't know if you guys remember all the pushback he got from his own party for that. So immigration has always been a thing. John McCain ran, that was a problem. Bush, Clinton, Trump, that came up. It's always an issue. Immigration will never be fixed because it's something that both sides benefit from politically, right? It's something like abortion.
And it's something that's always happened, man.
You could keep raising money for it, but you could stop it.
You know, when you talk about, like, I like to go back, way back. So you go back to the U.S.-Mexican War. That was illegally stolen land by America on Mexican land. And some might argue that for Mexicans, we didn't cross the border crossed us. And that's a straight up facts. Now, when you bring that up to certain white folks, they say, oh, well, we didn't steal the land, we conquered it. That's what they like to say. Conquering has always happened. All right. Well, guess what else has always happened? Immigration. People has always left their lands in search of better lands. That's always happened as well. So it's just circular bullshit that just goes up and around, man. How we deal with it?
I think I come from both my family. I'm first generation born here. I understand this issue, and I think that I understand the macro part of it. I'm saying for the micro part of it, on the ground every day, what do I have to be concerned about when I step outside my crib? It's these people outside who are not from here wilding out. I'm going to feel a way about them. It doesn't mean I hate everyone. It means I feel a way about these ones that's over here wilding the fuck out. That's a very real, legitimate thing. And I don't think that makes people bad or wrong for feeling this way.
Only thing that I would say to that is, you just espoused that it's New York and a lot of your people, and you gotta remember, a lot of the country don't live in New York, don't have family in New York. We're not dealing with the problems that New York is dealing with, or New Jersey, or Philly, or any of that. There's a lot of Americans
you don't find it a bit odd. So we don't find it a bit odd that the biggest melting pot in the country is like, yo, chill. There's too much here right now. We don't find that a little weird.
Well, I'm not saying
it's usually not that loud. And 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we didn't have this. There wasn't this chorus coming from other immigrants in New York to the volume that it is. So something has changed to turn the volume up.
I'm not saying that it's not happening. Okay, let's get that clear. I'm not saying that it's not happening. You're making the argument as if I'm saying you're making some shit up. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we are not experiencing that. And what is happening in New York is a problem, and it needs to be fixed. But because what is happening in New York and what is happening in a handful of areas is not what's happening for the bulk of the country. That's not what everybody is experiencing. And so, do I think we probably need to pull together and deal with what's going on in those areas? Yeah. But do I believe that this is some kind of nationwide mass invasion that's going on everywhere? No. Also, we got to factor in, when did that problem got the way it got in New York? When a couple of people from Texas and southern states decided to ship a bunch of people to New York. That's when I start hearing people talk about it. And so what I'm saying is, somebody concentrated, decide, I want to throw this problem on New York. That doesn't mean the whole entire United States is experiencing what people in your circles are experiencing. And I just saw somebody throwing Colorado. That's not happening in Colorado as a whole. It's not. You have that one story that happened, which you come to find out that the story was actually bullshit. It's not happening all over the place. Is it happening in some areas where there's too much where there's a overage amount of illegal immigration? Yes. Are some of the people within those groups criminals and committing crime? Yes. But it's not some we're in this massive millions and millions of illegals who are just destroying the fabric of America as we know it. That's not what's happening. That's all I'm saying. And I think that possibly it could be that, that's why it goes back to the question which I was asking about this whole mass immigration thing. Colorado is out of. Did you just not say you live near the border? I know people in Colorado who are not complaining and have an issue with that at all. Who don't bring up anything about illegal immigration. One thing I know about the Midwest, it is definitely not overpopulated. And there is definitely plenty of work. It is not. If you're saying that illegals are stealing your jobs in the Midwest, you are full of shit. Being there last week and seeing people walking around does not make that an issue. That does not make it the issue. You need to live there in that area and then tell somebody what's going on. But I know people who live in Colorado who ain't complaining about nothing, who are not like the stuff that Chris is talking about the brothels and all that stuff. That ain't happening there. Now, you could bring that up in DC and all these other areas, which I'm sure it probably is. But that is not happening all over the whole entire United States. And when I hear conservatives talk about hundreds of thousands being brought in every month, if you just do the math, okay, so America's sitting on what, like 500 million people now or something? I mean, come on, it don't even add up. And if so, where are they all going? Are they all only going to like 5 states? Because for the most part, they would be going to the most populous areas because that's where you're going to need to find work. So let's say they are mostly going to all these different areas. Then, okay, why are we not seeing an extra 4 million people in some of these cities? We're not seeing that. That's all I'm saying. And that's some of my issues with getting some of this information from some of these people that I see online, because they make it like, oh, we have, I saw somebody say we have what, 15, 20 million that have come in during the Biden administration. Okay, well, show me how you know it's that many, and where are they at?
I found about 20 million under my bed.
Now, don't get me wrong. I know that there are people coming in here. I know that, but these numbers that I'm hearing,
yeah,
they don't add up.
Just like the voting numbers don't add up. Same shit, man. It's all fake and gay. Nah, man. Hey, I'm a run, but I appreciate always chatting with you, fine gentlemen. There's fine people on both sides. Even on Chris's side, my man Chris. No, and it's always good. Like, he has a different perspective, and that's what makes the conversations even better. When it's better than an echo chamber, in my opinion, man. When everyone's on the same goddamn page, you don't get nothing, man. Like, when you have dissenting opinions, dissenting thoughts, that's when you have to engage your critical thinking skills and think outside the box and think better ideas. So that's what makes a fire. All right, gentlemen. Hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate
All right,
you.
Weezy, have a good one, man.
All right, man. You too, bro.
Peace, Dub. Let me push back against this. It says, I believe Chris Marcus needs to step outside his bubble. I'm here in Arizona, traffic in the straight up to Las Vegas. I didn't say I don't believe Chris. But are y'all going to tell me that what is happening in New York is happening everywhere? It's not. On the border states, there's always a higher amount of illegal immigration. That's a fact. Yes, Arizona does have a higher amount. New Mexico, Texas, California, yeah, they do. The big cities, like what I said before. I didn't deny anything was happening. I just deny, and when I talked about those 12 million to 15 to 20 to 30 million, Chris didn't say that. That's not the point that Chris was making. I just brought that up because it's on topic, and it is what I've heard from conservatives online who have talked about why they feel so strongly about building the wall and doing all that. That's why I brought it up. I wouldn't put it on Chris that he was making that argument. Chris has never made that argument. So it's not like I'm disagreeing with Chris. I just saying that I can't speak for the experiences of what is going on in an area that I don't live in, 2 don't have a circle group of people living in, and 3 have not sat there and went out of my way to dig up what is going on in New York right now.
I think largely that, and this would be my last thing at it, I think that if Trump had tried to do mass deportations in 2016, it would have been a larger outcry. I think if he comes in 2024 and he does a sweep, I think the complaints will be much quieter than they would have been 8 years ago or 6 years ago or even 5 years ago. I think now there's going to be a lot more people who will be like, just turn their heads to it or just be like, oh, well.
No, I think it is a lot stronger of a possibility that if he did want to go through with the deportations on a major scale, that he probably could, he would have far less pushback, because I think that where the population is, whether it's representative of what's actually going on or not, how people vote and react is relative to how they feel and how they see things. And there's a lot of people where on paper, the economy is doing better than it was 2 years ago. Okay, but what does that mean to somebody in their day-to-day life? If they don't see that in their day-to-day life, then that is just a useless stat, and it matters nothing. If people are seeing a situation and they have dealt with a situation, or because I've met a lot of these different MAGA people who live in a small town and they're not seeing none of the immigration at all, but because they know what's going on, it is an issue to them. Period. It doesn't matter how many people that they running into. It don't matter if anybody in their circles even dealing with it, because I know plenty of people in in the upper Midwest who are not experiencing any of that. I mean, but for them, it is a number one priority that Trump build the wall and get these immigrants out of here. I can't tell these people what to feel or what to believe, and I'm not trying to. And somebody had brought up what I was trying to say. Chris H. He said Marcus is looking at immigration issue as a whole from a bird's eye view. People are seeing it from their own local perspectives and not in the aggregate. That's what I'm looking at it from, the whole entire country. I can't speak to everybody's demographic because every situation is going to be different for every single state. And actually, I won't even say every single state. I'll say every single city and county within that state, things are going to be different. And some states are going to be affected in mass way worse than others. So that's going to influence how people see an issue. But sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I think when politicians from here on out run and they're not afraid to say, hey, we're going to be looking to deport people and or to clean up our cities. And this is another thing, right? So you flood the city, you flood the city with these people. Some of them commit crimes. What happens? More police. Who ends up suffering? Some of them, but most of the time it'd be people that look like us. Again, in major cities, Philly, Chicago, New York, Baltimore, DC, all these places, whenever they have a build up because of the rising crime, if you will, again, it's only going to be it's going to be who suffer from it as usual, how it goes. So, which is why it would be smart at this point in time for people to actually try to get some of the problem actors out of their neighborhoods, because it's not going to end well for anybody, really. So, and then what other policies that come from having a zone flooded like this is not going to be good, especially when people like Trump and whoever else after him comes. So it could be it very well could become, you know, a bigger problem than what it is. But I wanted to say off of this, you know, the election and numbers and stuff like that. I noticed the only group that voted like in uniform really is black women, 91%. Did you see
Oh,
the
I kind
numbers?
of had a little bit more I wanted to say on the immigration thing.
Oh,
But
all right, go ahead.
yeah, this I'll say because I'm just gonna put this out there. When Chris said like that, more than likely they're going to not more than likely there's not going to be as much pushback or anything when that stuff goes through. Looking into the voting numbers, which some people in the chat have talked about, a high amount of people who are immigrants or children of immigrants or who voted. And I'm talking about legal voting. I'm not talking about like fake voting, but like NBC story that I saw about two people, they snuck across the border themselves. They snuck across the border themselves. Now later on, under Reagan, they were granted immunity and got citizenship. The mother and the son both voted for Trump, and they asked him. He said, "Are you worried about him rounding up and taking away some of your undocumented family members?" And they said no, because they work hard and they're the good ones, and they're not gonna. That mindset that you're thinking with that, oh, you're the good ones, it won't affect you. Okay, play that game if you want to. I've heard it. Well, I've heard a lot of black people, a lot of Democrats too, saying they're gonna be the ones out there calling ICE because a lot of Kamala supporters are pissed off, and they're gonna be the ones. And so when we see some of these tragic stories of families being broken up, and there was a lot of the black community there, you know, supporting and trying to. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I saw it. I saw it on Amazing Lucas also. It's going to be a lot of black people that's going to be like, you know what? Oh, well, that's your problem. And so I don't know. I think that what we will see definitely in this next probably 4 years is a lot more like Weezy was just talking about. We're going to see a lot more division. A lot more people breaking down to you're Hispanic, you stay over there. I'm black, we stay over here. White people, we stay over there. And I think we're going to just see a lot more division. I felt like we've seen that pretty much since the reaction to Obama getting in there. Obama got in there, you had a whole lot of white people come out all of a sudden, be on a lot more racial shit. And a lot more of that came out with certain aspects of MAGA. I'm not saying everybody in MAGA is a racist, but it definitely did fire up a good chunk of them. So last thing I guess I'll say on that is that you're going to have a whole lot of that beefing going on. And I will say this because I've seen this kind of going back and forth in the chat. A lot of FBAs I've seen do have a very anti-immigrant viewpoint. It may not be all, but the loudest, most outspoken FBA that I see, most of them hold that they not messing with the immigrants kind of mentality. So
They weren't. That's what I'm saying. Everything changed. They weren't talking like this 2 years ago.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really have never followed the whole FBA. Honestly, when FBA popped up on my radar was with that kind of mentality. Before, I was used to the ADOS. ADOS wasn't really on that, but FBA
That's what I'm saying.
was. The FBA was on that, and a lot of that started with them doing the delineation stuff from them mostly being pissed off with black people who they were like, nah, they not black Americans. They, that's a Cuban or that's a Dominican or that's a Haitian. And so that's where I started seeing that first. And then it spread on to, you know what? F all these immigrants. That's all I'm saying. So, I mean, it could be my perspective is just wrong. And there's a whole bunch of FBAs out there who are not on that same kind of deport them all kind of stuff. But that's just what I've run into. And all I can do is speak on what I've ran into and the information I've seen.
I've been following, I've been in their circles for years now, right? And again, their main thing was trying to identify themselves as a particular group because they feel that will help them obtain their goal of getting reparations from the United States government. So that's what they started on. That was their main thing. However, again, you see these influx of people into these cities where there is a lot of, if we just look at the videos out of Chicago alone over the last several months, talking to their local politicians, we even done stories about that here. It's a lot of the black people who are saying, yo, what's really good with this situation right here? So you start mixing all the change in the neighborhood. And again, when you are actively trying for this group, they're actively trying to get some sort of redress from their government. And when they keep giving you the shaft and they're giving people who literally came here illegally funds, housing, it's going to make those people who want that, it's going to make them extremely salty and they're going to be real sour towards that other group. And I don't not understand it. I understand it, although I don't necessarily agree with everything they say, but I can understand why people would feel that way.
I can understand it too, especially when a lot of these people have not paid attention to the fact of they've always kind of given these things out. And there's never been this, like, I feel like the push should be like, yo, where is our shit? And it should have been never take your boots off the neck of where is our shit. I saw most of the people come out about it when they felt like, wait a minute, now they're getting something. And I feel like there's been a group of people who have not been on that. Now, there's always going to be some group of people who are pushing back for it. But I felt like where a lot more of those people jumped on the train is when they saw somebody else getting. And I've said this before multiple times. There's a whole lot of black people out there who they care about, they care about all of these other things. Don't give a damn about civics, don't care about local elections, don't even know anything about who their locally elected person is. But in plenty of places where I've lived, I've seen immigrants come in, get engaged in what's going on civically, locally and nationally, and then their kid or a nephew or somebody gets into office, and then what do? They look out for the interests of the immigrant population. And I feel like there's a lot of black people who are not doing that. Now, you can be upset with politicians for them giving money to immigrants, but at the same time, there needs to be a certain amount of that frustration and anger set aside for black politicians who are not putting money back into the black community. And I do not see that.
And I think they are. I think it's finally coming around to the point to where they're no longer approving of a what's the old guys? I can't think of the old man name right now, but
Jim
Maxine
Clyburn.
Waters, Clyburn. What's the other guy who they want to become, who they want to become Speaker of the House? Hakeem Jeffries. All these corny black all these.
That's what I'm saying. There is not enough of heat on them. There is not nearly enough heat on them.
They're here. They're getting the heat. Obviously, For a long time, these people have been supported by aunties and uncles and grandmas and grandpas. But this new generation now is finally like, nah, we're not listening to grandma and auntie and uncle no more. We moving on from these people. So, again, it's just like a lot of other things. There's a generational split. If you talk to your aunts and grandfathers and stuff like that, they would still tell you that you need to support the Democratic Party. And we can see that by the amount of votes that they get. They still have a hold on the party. But a younger generation is not going to be so forgiving or willing to work with them, because they are seeing what they have done and what they have accomplished. They've only accomplished things for themselves, nothing for the communities at large. So we're about to see that. And in states like California or Texas and stuff like that, there's enough Mexicans there. The government there is more friendly to that demographic than they are to the native Black American population. That's just a fact.
Well,
And
I'll say,
I don't see
especially,
them playing. I don't see them playing with the Mexicans or other Hispanic groups the way that they did with Black folks, especially in California. Right? You had Newsom say, "Hey, we'll want this reparations panel. Da, 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 da. We want to do this and do that, and we want to say sorry." And then it blows up. Sorry, didn't work out. I don't see them playing with the Hispanic groups like that.
well,
I
it's like
don't. I see them more catering. I see them more catering to them.
well, it's like I said, they have gotten into office. They get into office. So if they are elected officials, he got to negotiate with these other politicians. He can't sit there and if he got 20 people who are part of, the Hispanic caucus, and they're telling him this is how we vote on this, and they rock hard on that one view, he got to go with it. And that's the thing. The Black caucus out here in California, I think, is like 7 people. They don't have the power anymore, and even within their areas, they're able to go home perfectly fine, ride through their neighborhood, stop at all their stores, and get no pushback. They get a little bit of pushback at Congress from a handful of engaged people who are very engaged. Maybe it's reparations, maybe it's Black issues in general, but they only get like the 15, 20 people who yell at them at their office, and then they go about their day and go through the city perfectly fine, no problems, no headaches. Hakeem Jeffries, he should have somebody outside when he's back in New York. He should have 100 people outside his house every damn day, but I guarantee he don't. And that's what I mean by, and that's what I mean by these Black politicians are not getting the heat. They're not. Now, it's fine and dandy to say we're not going to listen to grandma, we're not going to listen to uncle, we're not going to listen to auntie, we're not listening to big mom, we're not listening to all them. But if they are the bulk of our community and they keep these people in power and they're not feeling any pressure from us, then the situation stays the same.
Yeah, they've got another maybe cycle or two left, way I look at it.
Well, what I'm seeing, I mean, I could agree with that because they're not going to be able to get those voting numbers the same. They're going to still have the Black boulets.
They're going to start passing away.
Yeah, they're going to still have the what was her name? The one who was on I don't know her name, Rye, something like that. The one who was on the Breakfast Club.
Angela Rye?
Yeah, her. They're gonna have those types of people in what's her name? The Abby Phillips. They're gonna have those types that are still gonna be out there. But I think right now they are losing more and more and more. And
correct.
It's basically the under. I would say it's the under 45. And if you look in the polling, that's where Kamala got. That's where she got most of her damage. Was the under 45, and I think for the first time you saw a big chunk of that population stay home, and I think also, that's where it was.
Well, speaking of which, again, Trump gained with every single demographic. Every single demographic he made gains with. So clearly things like racism or um, xenophobia, clearly these things are not as important as the Democratic Party wants us to believe it is. Because
Well,
again, you had Hispanics and blacks, more of them voting for this guy. So
but
I think
percentage, but I would say percentage is going to go up if you have a portion of them who stay home. If you got a bigger portion of that population that stays home and doesn't vote for anybody, then it's going to make Trump's numbers go up anyway, just because now the share is being shifted more over. If you would have had higher numbers of the black population, it would have took Trump's numbers down a little bit more. And I don't feel like his numbers have jumped that much. I mean, that vote is going to be proportional to how many people overall come out and vote. And I mean, what did Trump get this time around? Like 18%, something like that. So he went
you
up
got
like 2%.
whatever, 74 million.
No, I'm talking about
million.
just the black vote.
Oh, that I don't know yet.
Yeah, if you look up the black vote percentage wise, I think he maybe got about 18%. Somewhere around there.
I don't know if it was by a city. I saw one that was high as like 26%, but I don't know if that was like in maybe one city or one county. But I did see a number that high. I think nationally, I think he was at between 16 to 17%, which is pretty much where he gained a little bit more from last election.
Yes, and that's the argument that I'm making. It's a slight increase. It's not a major like swing that all of these. Because honestly, many of the people that kind of more in my circles who would be more likely to vote for the Democrat, they didn't say, you know what, since the Democrats are screwing me so bad, I'm gonna go vote for Trump. They just stayed home. They just say, I'm gonna stay home, or they voted for Stein or Cornel West. They wrote in somebody, or they left the top slot blank. They voted all down ticket, or they voted only ballot initiatives. I mean, yeah. What Autris was saying here about the California is powered by rice and beans. I hate to say it that way, but I'm telling you, look up the elected officials out here in California. I could tell you where I drive. I'm not trying to be racial or anything, but every sign that I see has a Hispanic name to it. Every sign. I mean, so I know who has more of the power, and that's the reason why Gavin Newsom is going to listen a lot more to the Hispanic community than the black community. I mean, a lot of the black community has moved out of the state. A lot of them have moved to Texas, moved to Nevada, moved to Arizona, moved to Oregon, moved to Washington. And I would say the black population, in fact, I'm curious what the black population is in California, because I don't think it's more than 10%. And that's the reason why Gavin Newsom don't have to listen to it. It's so low that there isn't that political power to shift anything. And so that also makes a difference too in states. Not much. Yeah.
Vegas,
yep. Autry says lots of blacks are moving to Vegas. I know a lot of who look at Vegas because it's too expensive to live out here. Let's see, black. Let me look it up. I don't know why I'm not typing this on my computer. But
Oakland probably will.
Oakland is still going to be. That's where more of the black population is held on in the Bay Area. Right now it says. I mean, what is that in percentage? It says that it is decreased from 2.2 million to 2.1 million. So it's already law. I mean, it's continually every year to go down. And the overall black people account for 5% of California's population. That's the reason why he don't have to listen on a reparations ballot initiative here in Cali. That's why he don't have to listen. As that number continues to dwindle. That's why I say if there was a whole bunch of people coming from south of the border into California who were documented, I mean who were undocumented, I wouldn't even be able to tell. I mean, hell, you got people who have legal citizenship here who live here for 70 years and don't speak English. You got whole communities where they're going to greet you everything in Spanish before English. Definitely where I live. Hell, you almost need to be bilingual in some of the places out here. That's what I'm saying.
Same thing in parts of Miami. You know, there's signs in Spanish. You know, down in Miami. So you know, again, neighborhoods are changing. The demographics are changing. You know, it's going to have an effect one way up and down the line in a number of ways. Some good, some bad.
Florida still has that balance. Change. I think you still got a healthy, strong black population in Florida, and that makes a difference as a counterbalance. Whereas
there's a lot of, but yeah, and Florida has a lot of, in addition to Black Americans, they have a lot of, you know, people from the Caribbean.
And just Caribbean too.
The Caribbean down here. So you know, people from Bahamas, people from Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica, you know, Haiti. They're all down here too. So the black population is substantial here, but obviously you can delve into those numbers and you can separate them based on, you know, who they claim.
But it's just like I'll throw up just like how in the Bay Area, the Asian community has a big, huge stick that they swing. Because there's a strong Asian community with deep pockets and are in elected seats, and that makes a difference. But you know, that I guess we've taken a little bit more time on the whole immigration stuff in general. LA means Los Angeles also. But another thing that I was noticing is the amount of outrage and frustration and crying from Kamala supporters has been wild. I'm like,
I just want to say this: the Democratic Party, its voters, most of its supporters, again, the problem with them is they know everything. And when they don't know everything, then it's not true, or it's not happening, or it's something bad. They're really, really suffering. I don't know what kind of mental illness, brain fart. I don't know where they are on the spectrum, but they're clearly on the spectrum. Some of the women even went so far as to start the 4B, not to start, but to copy the South Korean 4B movement. They're not having sex with men. They're not having babies. I mean, if you see most of them who were posting those videos, most of them look like gay women to me. Most of them look like lesbians or dykes to me in most of the videos. Or they had deceptive rings, or they were pierced all over their face. They're screaming, acting stupid as hell. I mean, from the regular people like that to the media hosts to their version of entertainers, it's just a mess on that side of the political spectrum. I don't want no parts with it. I'm going to stand from where I am, and I'm going to just keep making fun of them, being critical of them, because geez Louises, man.
I'm sorry. I'm distracted by Hamza because I know he's doing the Jesse Lee lesbians.
Most of them were. If you watch the compilation videos, and who's doing it. And what's ironic is that particular day I had on YouTube. So I put on NBC and ABC because I wanted to see what their coverage was post election. One, they were talking, they couldn't stop repeating the text message news story that went out where there was messages to black people talking about you're going on a plantation and blah 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 and all this other. Again, the news was running. They kept repeating that story, and that's nonsense. Why is this coming up right after Trump went? Oh, you want black people to feel away? Okay, I get it. Anyway, moving on. I was just they started covering all of these people in these video montages of these women, and
It's hilarious to me. I mean,
they're just so soft. They're just so soft with
it's
everything.
hilarious. No, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna say that I don't have some concerns and some worries on my behalf because I have read the whole Project 2025 thing. Now I don't know what they're gonna do, if they're gonna do any of it, do some of it, do a lot. I don't know, but I do know like one of the things in there could definitely affect me directly. Like, because one of the things they're talking about in the Project 2025 is like literally taking veterans like disability checks. Like that's something that they're talking about getting rid of. Will they do it? I don't know, but part of me sits there. That did make me pucker up a little because I'm like, oh shit, and that is money that I do depend on. I need that, and so it makes me. I mean, it's stuff that with the Trump administration and some of the neocons and conservatives does make me a little nervous about some stuff, but I'm not out there boohoo crying like they are. I mean, they're just like ridiculous. I mean, and how many of these people where their states have some kind of abortion regulations and stuff like that where they're not losing whatever they think that they're losing. I mean, and honestly, most of those that I heard freak out, it mostly had to do with abortion or LGBTQ legislation, which I haven't even heard Trump say that he's going to do anything on LGBTQ. I mean, now he said that like some of the he's not going to have like what trans bathroom, some of that stuff like that I don't think is going to be a major big deal. He said things like that, but I didn't hear him say that he's going to get rid of gay marriage or anything like that. I mean, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe y'all heard that or something, but I haven't even heard some of the stuff that some of the people are claiming that that's going to happen. Now, I do realize that's in Project 2025. It does talk about that, but do I think that that's going to be his priority and some of the stuff he's going to focus on? No, not at all. So until you kind of hear him kind of, declare on certain things, then I would kind of say, that's when you start to kind of worry about it. Just like I told you with the thing where they might take away the veterans disability money and certain other benefits and that they were talking about. At that point, then kind of okay, you can start worrying about that. But that's not the stuff that he's talked about. Mostly what I've heard that I think that he's going to focus on more than anything is expect a giant major tax cut. Expect that is definitely going to happen. You might see some immigration, some deportations. You might see the Stay in Mexico Act come back up. But outside of that, I don't see anything in particular that he's even focused on that he's said that now the tariff things, I don't pay the tariff thing any attention because I think when he actually starts trying to put it in practice, some of his people will be like, Mr. President, we can't do this. And they're going to stop him on that. So some of the things I think that they're not going to allow him to do because he would basically destroy himself. Oh yeah, by the way, throw a couple more shout outs. I've been said what's up. Dingo is out there. See, Willie Bragg has hopped into the building. What's up, Willie Bragg? And if y'all not familiar, make sure y'all go out, go give my boy Willie a like and a share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Um, Willie says, "Pink pussy hat
That
Trump
last part,
derangement.
really.
The syndrome might be goofy, but I'll oppose the actual right wing shit he tries to impose. Congressional Republicans concern me more than the orange man." Exactly. And I've always said that I believe Trump is transactional. He doesn't really have as much of an agenda as he says. That's the reason why I only named those couple of things, because those are the only things that he seems married to. All the other stuff is going to be case by case basis, and we will see when certain people he gives power what they do with the power. But that's why I'm saying the tariff thing. Yes, tariffs is another big tax going into what Weezy was saying. They say that they're not doing big government, but in actuality, they are doing big government shit. I don't know. What about you, Chris? Like, what is some of the stuff that you expect that's going to happen? Of course, we know he's probably going to get at least one, maybe two Supreme Court picks. So you could see the court going a little bit more to the right than it already is. But I don't know. What else do you see?
Rhetoric, mostly. Foreign policy wise, nothing will change. I do think that maybe he will try to pull back on the spending on Ukraine. I don't know if he'll be able to put a total stop to it, but I do think that he will at least try to do that on some level. As far as Israel goes, we already know he's in full support of Israel. Nothing's going to change as far as that policy goes. So, you know, again, I feel for the Palestinian folks over there. But, you know, that's what it was going to be if Kamala was president or if Biden was reelected. You know, again, that's just largely American policy. I see some pushback coming from. I
want to throw this out there too.
I think,
and shout out to Abby, by the way, Abby and Michael over there. It is at Dabby Do, at Dabby Don't. Make sure y'all go over there, show some love, give us a subscribe, like upcoming new channel. We gotta show them some love, bring them into the fold. Hopefully we can all grow. But just wanted to say that real quick. And and Thomas, while we're out there, I always forget about Thomas. Go check Thomas out too. But sorry about that. Back to you, Chris. I just had to, show some love.
Yeah. Damn, I don't even remember what I was saying. Yeah, I don't think
You said foreign policy.
I think the congressional Republicans, Senate Republicans, and Trump, while they largely agree, there are some things that they agree on. I think the House Republicans will go too far, even for Trump, and even he will push back a little bit at some of the more crazier things that they want to do. He'll take some of their middle of the road shit or things that are a little bit less crazy, but he'll even push back against them. And then there'll be pushback from the Senate Republicans. They'll probably want a bigger push for action on China or something like that. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not confident that it's going to be great, but in terms of any pushback from the Democrats or the left, again, they're so focused on the wrong fucking things that there is no opposition, and this is why the election went the way that it did. We are paying attention to too much dumb shit that doesn't make any sense. And again, people want to complain right wing, left wing, but at the end of the day, we have a bunch of stupid shit that we are stuck with. Like, I want to play this clip from Abby Phillips. And this, I don't know the Republican's name, but I want to play this. I saw this clip this morning. And I want to play this because this kind of, like, to me, shows, like, the mindset of the would-be opposition to Trump, right? So listen to this.
I think there are a lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is.
Jay,
they're not boys. They're not
boys.
boys. They're not playing girls softball. I'm not going to sit there and listen to that.
Let's reset for a second because, look, this is a really heated issue, right? And Michael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different views on this. I think out of respect for Jay, like, let's try to talk about this in a way that is respectful.
Okay, so let me rephrase this since I'm being targeted here.
I don't.
No, it's okay.
You are not being.
But targeted. I am. But it's okay.
I'm specifically saying that I know that you are not intending to be transphobic.
He should know that I'm not. But he wants to sit here and
calling you transphobic.
I want you to. I want to give you an opportunity.
So the way regular.
So again, this is what I'm talking about. Just beyond stupid. The host telling him to discuss this topic would be respectful about it. What are we talking about? And then the attitude from the white dude, you can't tell me nothing. You're not going to tell me this because I don't like it and blah, blah. And I'm just going to keep talking because I don't want to let you talk, da, da, da. This is just a microcosm of the left at large. This is how they are. Shit like that. Black women standing up for nonsense. Gay white guys talking nonsense. You even heard the white lady. I don't know what her political persuasion is, but she said, no, it's not transphobic. I mean, what are we talking about transphobic here? Or any number of things on the left. Even the way that they went after abortion or the way that they went about discussing the abortion issue, you would think that every single woman who's ever needed an abortion in her life was raped by a family member or raped by somebody in the street or was carrying to term and the baby was carrying this baby was going to kill the mother. They only made it seem as if those are the only instances in which women go get abortions. Everybody knows better than that, but it's the way that they talk about these issues, the way that they force them on us. You know, we got on the right a lot back in the days, many years ago, for their culture war stuff. The left is all they have left is culture war now. They now look like the right wing to me. That is all they do is talk about social issues, nothing economic, just bullshit like that. So until they get there,
please don't call them the left because man, that's not the left.
In America, they would serve as the left. In America,
they're the Democrats. Just let's say the Democrats. So I'm like, they're not the left. Yeah, these people are not the left. These people are centrists. These people are all centrists, all PMCs. They don't represent. I mean, if you take their belief system and you transplant it to anywhere in the world, they are right wing.
Yeah,
these people don't believe in.
Before this country, they would be the left.
Yeah, but I don't want us speaking in the typical what everybody else says here because it's wrong. It's not correct, and we're doubling down on everybody's way of wrongly understanding politics. I mean, left and right is decided on economic policies. And
correct.
Everybody in America, because they don't understand politics. Not going to call them a name, although I want to. They put this stuff as right wing and left wing. These are identity extremists. This is what I would call them. But they don't represent
I would say though they vote most of the time with the Democratic.
But Democrats aren't even the left. But Democrats aren't the left.
So will we say the Republicans are not right?
I would say the Republicans are far right, extreme right. They are further right than most right wing parties. It's just everything in America is shifted to the right. Everything is shifted to the right. Even the so-called left is basically the right. I mean, most of these people outside of actually, I'm trying to think. Was wait a minute? Was Reagan pro-choice? Trying to remember, because basically Obama and Reagan, what's the difference? And he was considered the right back then. I honestly feel like that this right-wing party is so much further to the right than even Bush. Bush was considered far right. I mean, you had the Tea Party that started to come up. And so that's what I'm saying. They have went further and further and further and further to the right. Whereas these people who are left are mostly, in fact, many of these were Republicans under Bush.
I would continue to call them the left, especially because, look, those are the same people calling for Medicare for all. They would like the government to take bigger positions, certain actions. They would like the government to take certain actions
the Democrats don't support Medicare for all, though. The Democrats don't support Medicare for all. No.
But all of these people on the left, they support it. Who doesn't support that on the left here in America?
None of these elected officials do. That's what I'm saying. None of these people.
I'm not talking about
on that panel. On that panel,
I'm not talking about elected
officials. On that panel, they do not support no Medicare. I can tell you, none of them on that panel support Medicare for all.
Yo, Marcus, you cut me off all the time. Can I finish, please? I'm not talking about elected officials. I'm talking about the voters. I'm talking about the average person, people on the ground. They don't necessarily have to call themselves, but the way I would describe them, I would not describe them as right. I'm going to call them left. They have more in common with leftist ideology and leftist politics than they do right wing or anything centrist. It's more on the left. I would have called myself maybe a leftist some time ago, but I don't even call myself that anymore. Like, I don't believe for me personally, I don't like any of those labels because it kind of keeps you stuck in a corner, or I'm out here just free flowing, observing tea leaves and watching how the wind blows and shit like that. They would be left to me. If you think they're not, then that's cool. But to me, that's how I'll continue to keep identifying them, because that's how it looks to me. And even when we break it down along political lines here in America, the right wing doesn't deal with them. We don't see we don't see this group heavy on the right wing side. They are. So even though things have changed and it's not left in UK, it's not left in Cuba or Venezuela or something like that. We know it's not that type of left, but they are more leftist than anybody else in the country.
Yeah, but also you made the argument about that guy talking about the whole boys and trans and all that. All of those people who believe in Medicare for all and all that don't support what he's talking about. So to put the argument, what he's saying as him being a representative for all these other people, I don't think that that's a fair equation, because I don't feel like he supports what what they believe in. And so to peg on him what he is saying is to what they all believe, I think is a misnomer.
All right, we'll see how this stuff plays out. I just see it that it's permeated the electoral politics to the point that this stuff even has to come up. And it's only, where is it coming up? Who is saying who needs to be aware of this and who needs to talk in certain ways now? Even educational, who is backing this stuff to go into the schools? Who is behind this stuff? Democrats? Yeah, but
I
with
believe it's
support
top down. I believe it's
Yeah.
top down. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe that's bottom up, that there's a whole bunch of people that are on the left who are pushing to make them do that. I believe this is top down.
It's gonna have serious repercussions because again, people care about economics and they want more money in their pocket. They don't want to be playing around with pronouns and people's feelings and shit like that. So I think once they can get back to focusing on economics, they would be better.
Well, that's the thing. That's the reason why I have a hard time with it being called the left, because think about it, the people who are listening to CNN, if you look into their ideology, most of these people who are listening to CNN don't support any of these so-called leftist policies. These people
Left
are
socially, not so much economically, left socially.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, or okay, then if you say socially left, and okay, I could deal with that a little bit better, because I still consider my viewpoint on economically is still economically left. And I do not feel these people represent me in any kind of way, and it never have. And even the stuff that they do try to put in, it's never suited me. That's right. It never suited I guarantee a lot of the people who consider themselves left, who follow independent media. Most of them, I do believe, would be real social democrats or democratic socialists or communists, not people who are cosplaying it and just saying so, like a Bernie Sanders, for instance, or a Kyle Kalinske and all these people. I think they're just saying it. They're cosplaying. I guess that's why it kind of triggers me a little bit, because many of those people who do have that leftist economic don't watch the CNNs or the MSNBCs or any of these people. Majority of them won't even know who Abby Phillips is. That's what I would say. So, that because I would
No,
say
they don't.
I would say that
That
I'm
clip
more
I played,
aligned. I was going to say, I would say I'm more socially aligned with more stuff that would be so-called socially to the right. But if you put me in, say, Colombia, then I wouldn't be any different than plenty of people who are on the left, because many of those people on the left down in those countries don't support none of that stuff. You know, it's not that the LGBTQ is not a right or left in any of those countries, because you got people who are on the right and the left who believe in both of them down there.
Mm-hmm. So until the opposition to the Trump thinking or anybody on that side of the political spectrum, conservative, right wing, until their opposition grows a pair, ironically, and decides to, stop falling into these stupid traps, think economically, then we will have some real competition here. But unfortunately, we don't. You would look at it, even the Democrats, right? The Democratic Party would much rather lose to Trump than to put forth any policy that would be popular. Kamala said that if you elect her, that she would legalize marijuana, for instance. Okay, you ran, the problems that marijuana being criminalized has brought on to your most loyal voting bloc. Here you are now. You have a couple months left to do something. Biden very well could sign an order, prior to his time in office. I doubt he will. But again, that just goes to show they're not even willing to do the basic minimum to appease their people. So I just, that's a failed. Yeah, they just suck ass, bro.
I don't think. I mean, like a lot of people would put that on to a Kamala, and this is the one area where I will throw a defense for. All these people are like, well, why didn't she do it when she was in office? She's not fucking elected. Vice president can't do a goddamn thing. And it's so many people putting that on there. Vice presidents can't do shit. Let's just stop with the foolishness. Vice presidents can't do shit. And why would Biden out the door decide he gonna do something to help? Why would he care? I mean, that's the reason why I'm saying he don't give a shit. He out the door in the next couple of months. There's no incentive for him to do anything. And
So
Kamala don't have the power to do anything. And I look at it as,
I just think sometimes people, they either oversimplify things or they don't, right? Like everybody knows and understands she's the vice president. She cannot sign a law. You know, she can only do so much. However, you are part of the administration. I understand that, you know, you don't want to be outside saying, hey, I'm for this and homeboy is for that. And we're not doing this because, you know, he won't. I understand you can't do that. You can't do that because you're an administration, you know. However, you can't say that you want to do all this stuff and you have no influence. If you can't influence the dude you work with, how are you going to influence all these senators and Congress people?
Well, you wouldn't. Well, you wouldn't be influencing them if you're the president. I mean, you'd just be telling them this is, and I honestly think influencing them might even be easier than influencing Biden. That dude did not pick her as his VP because he valued her ideas and her thinking. He didn't put her there because he thought she was going to give him wise counsel. I mean, the dude put her there because he felt like this is somebody that I can put there that's not a threat to me, that qualifies the black female. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of vice presidents and presidents don't even get along with each other. So, I mean, that said, also, I don't think that the Republicans the Democrats intentionally just decided that we would rather lose than lose to Trump. They really felt like they can say Trump is the bad guy, and that was going to be enough for them to get them across the because that's what Biden literally did. Biden didn't really promise anything. He really didn't promise anything. And so they really feel like all we got to do is say he's the bad guy, and that's enough. I think that the DC advisors are so far out of the loop that they just don't get it. And I think it's more that than they're just intentionally saying, no, we're not going to do this, this, and this. They're literally, you know, sniffing their own farts and smell them and think that they're great. They really are like, oh, well, the stock market looks great and this number looks great, and because they're not talking to real people. And so they're going on this information thinking they're good. And that's what I think better. More is.
They knew better the whole time. They knew it. The writing was on the wall. It was too loud and it was coming from everywhere. Usually they have like a safe space, if you will. There was no safe space for them nowhere this time around. Nowhere. And again, to me, it's like, they're like, damn, we don't want to lose, so we're going to try. Like, you can see like they put forth effort in one aspect of it, in that they had Obama everywhere at the end, right? That's how you know that they were desperate, because they had Barack everywhere, anywhere. But clearly putting him in barbershops or making him talk to black people the way he did, they saw the writing on the wall. They didn't do that last election. They sure didn't do that the election before. Well, they didn't really need to, right? But they saw the writing on the wall. They was on the internet too. They used social media. They were seeing the metrics, hearing the narratives, and just, yeah, it was just horrible from start to finish.
But I don't think they're on the internet like that, though. I really don't. I really think that
They
they listen to all the ABCs and the CBSs, and they really just weigh in on that. They really just believe in that alone. Because if you look back to, let's say, the primaries when it was Bernie versus Biden, they could see that Biden was the stronger choice, and they said, no, that is not going to happen. I don't think that they are that. I don't think that they care like that. I really think that they're in so much of a bubble that they can't see it.
No, they do. They saw it. That's why they moved the way they did. Look at all these internet accounts, the Krasensteins, all them young kids, the Chinese dude, who else? They have a whole like network of people. That's just on Twitter alone, much less Facebook, much less TikTok, much less even Truth Social. They're on all these things. They're watching everything. Yeah, that's one of them too, Yipper. They watching all this stuff. They knew. Look, as far as I'm concerned, they knew Kamala was going to lose, and they just put her up there. That's why they didn't want to spend no capital. They're like, yo, we can afford to lose with her. Just the way everything went down, all of it, man. I have more. How do I want to say it? I have more smoke for those people, because again, they're the ones who tried speaking to us most, and they're the ones insulting my intelligence more than ever right now. It's not even the other side. The other side is just saying what they want to do outright. You can either be with it or against it. There's not a whole lot of in between. The other side is just out of control on every single metric, and they got a hold of our people. And that's an unfortunate thing. When I look at the numbers, what was it? 81% of black men and 91% of black women. Dog, we screwed up. We so.
And that's what I'm saying. They are still watching the MSNBCs, the CNNs, and they're buying into this is the real reality. And this is everything is the Republicans' fault. We can't get anything done because the Republicans this, the Republicans that. That's what they believe. Shout out to Warren. What's up, Warren? I just really this is from the people that I see now. I think coming down the stretch, they realize, oh shit, we really are in trouble, and they were getting all of their media to lie to everybody and gaslight everybody. Now, they might have known after they were already into it, but I can't say how if they knew before they even put Kamala up that it was a failure. But like I already said, I felt like they screwed themselves the moment they made Biden the candidate. They had already screwed themselves. They had already made a series of movements that were going to put them into a situation that was going to screw them one way or another. It was just a matter of when it screwed themselves. And because they had the power to rig a primary, and they rigged the primary, it came back to bite them in the ass down the road. But here, I got something that I wanted to share real quick. This is by this video by the Funky Academic. He made and now I know people have done their pointing fingers and all that, and he brought up something that was kind of interesting, and like kind of what goes on with like what I was saying about. Well, I'll get to the Funky Academic in a minute, but what I was saying about they kind of put themselves in a pickle in the first place. I mean, Pelosi has gotten a whole lot of heat behind what she said, and I think that she was right about it. Biden said he was going to step down after 4 years. If he would have decided he was going to step down and there would have been an actual primary process, they might have had a better leg to stand on. I'm not saying that they would have necessarily. I mean, Kamala may not have been the nominee, and that would have got them out of the woods. They might have put somebody up. They might have put up Gretchen Whitmer. They might have put up Gavin Newsom, and they might have still got blown the hell out. I don't know. But I do feel like putting it down to Joe or Kamala, you screwed yourselves. I mean, you could have anybody else, even Josh Shapiro, whatever, out of Pennsylvania. Anybody else, I felt like would have had a better chance than the two you landed on. But you know, that said, I don't know. Actually, before I play that, I mean, what do you think about what I said there? Do you think any of those people would have had a better chance than Kamala?
I think, yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing is, I never thought Kamala had a chance to begin with because, again, she ran in 2020. She had received zero support. She had no support. Joe Biden was installed. And, you know, it's about time that people, especially Black people, just start to pay attention to the reality that is the Democratic Party. They are liars, cheats, and thieves, just like the other side is. But they will only believe it when it comes from Republicans. People better smarten up. Speaking of Biden, again, they didn't even allow their process to go out. They didn't even allow their process to play out with Joe Biden. They picked him right after South Carolina. They had their first primary in which they had a decent amount of Black votes. And they took that and said, well, Black people spoke and, you know, we love Black people. Black Lives Matter. And they want Biden. So we're going to choose Biden. And that's exactly what they did. And that's how we ended up with Biden. Hold the election. It's COVID, blah, blah. We know how it goes in that way. We saw what they did in 2016. We know who was losing. We know who was going to lose. We know that if you wanted to beat the orange guy the first time, there was one candidate at that moment who had all the support. From young folks, there were some older people willing to actually give this guy a chance had he been legitimate. Right now, he's bottom of the barrel, if you will. But there was one guy who actually had a chance to beat him at this popularity contest, and they chose not to field this dude, all because he might have one or two ideas that would cause the government to do something beneficial for the vast majority of its people. But they said, no, we can't do it. We've got our person who we need to put there. And then she got embarrassed. So again, you know, for all this talk within the party of Black men or men not liking women or not being respectful of women, the party just showed you what they think of women. They don't like women. They'll set them up to fail without any hangups. And then they'll deal with the people on the ground beefing and having these little spats between each other over this shit. It's really wild. That's why I have such, you know, disdain for them people.
You believe that they put Hillary up knowing she was going to lose?
No, the hubris came in. They thought they couldn't lose.
That's kind of where I come from. Overall, I just think that they have so much hubris. They thought they could put up Hillary. That didn't work. They thought they could, because they were able to get Biden across the line. They thought they could just throw Kamala up there. I think they're just
But here's the thing.
arrogant. That's all. They just think that they're that arrogant.
And let's not forget, they actually cheated in everybody's face. Literally cheated in everybody's face to ensure that Hillary was in fact going to be the nominee. They didn't think they could lose, but again, they were on the internet. They were seeing the energy. They were looking at the rallies. They looking at the numbers. They know who was getting their asses whooped. And they did whatever they had to do, again, to make it look like that their elections were actually legitimate. And we know it wasn't legit. So, and they did this. Matter of fact, they said, you know what? Forget even putting up the, like, we're not even going to pretend. We're not even going to get ourselves worked up to pretend in the primary this year. We just gonna pick our guy. We now holding one. That's that, and we'll go from there. Just the whole operation was bad. They told us Biden was cogent, that he knew, that he was aware of who he is, where he is, what he's doing. They lied the whole entire time. These people are devious. And I think it's time that people really look at them with the same glasses that they look at the Republican Party with.
I agree. I still just, I come to the conclusion like Hillary lost and they thought it was going to be a blowout Hillary's way. They thought they thought Biden was going to win and it was a nail biter. Then they thought Kamala was going to win and she got blown out also. I just think that they're just so arrogant that they really think that they know it all and they don't. And I don't think they've learned that lesson that they don't know it all because they're like, she ran a great campaign. Running a great campaign, what does that even mean? Oh, because she showed up at all these places. Yeah, showing up at all these places and doing all these rallies only matters if what you're saying matters to the people who are listening and matters to voters. If it don't matter to voters, then you didn't run a good campaign. Being there and having speeches and smiling a lot is not what a good campaign. Trump won 300 and something votes. No matter how he did whatever he did, that's running a good campaign because obviously he connected with the amount of voters he needs to. And this is why I say that I think that they don't get it. Their hubris tells them that, no, she did everything right. It's just that the people are not getting it. And it's like, no, it's your job to convince the people. It's not the people's job to acquiesce to what you think. And that's what I'm saying. I think that they're just they're so in their own mind and so in their bubble that they believe everything they do is right. And they have the right understanding of everything. And all their pollsters out there are not full of shit and not just taking money and telling them whatever they want to hear.
Thank you, Oz. That's really what it is. Team sports entertainment event. And you know what? They like the guy who does the entertainment. And like I said, this is but again, now look, through this political shit, they have now spawned, at least it's online, but it's not really good to have these types of conversations in the ether, right? So now you have black women talking reckless towards black men. And there's obviously a montage of other women, et cetera, et cetera. But it's spawning these stupid conversations. I've seen videos where black women were like, yo, if any of you find yourselves on, under a cop's knee, don't call me. Or good for you is when you get jammed up. Or
why?
Why? Because a certain number of black men voted for Trump or supported Trump or liked him or didn't vote for Kamala. Like you haven't seen all those montages yet?
No, I've mostly seen them just mad at Hispanics because I'm like, if 80-something percent of black men still voted for Kamala, then why are y'all mad at black men? I don't get why y'all mad at black men.
Correct. And it's crazy. Even the way that they're talking about Spanish folks now is wild reckless.
because I mean, let's say, for instance, if 100% of black men who were eligible to vote, let's say not one single black man voted for Trump, Kamala still would have lost. And not like barely lost, she would have still got blown out. Where you lost at, where you really lost, honestly, if you want to say a particular group, you lost with Hispanics and you lost with white people.
Yeah.
Be mad at white women. And that's funny because that leads into the video that I want to share.
More white men and more white women voted Trump this time. more Hispanic men and more Hispanic women voted Trump this time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, black women, as I said on the program 2 weeks ago, last week, whatever it was, I said, yo, we have to, they can no longer take the lead as it relates to this political thing. You just cannot allow it to continue. Look where it's going. You're talking negative because somebody didn't vote for the Democratic Party. And granted, I know not all of them feel this way, but all of these highly educated Phi Kappa sucker muddied whatever, like, yo, y'all got to sit back. You're smart in what you do, but you don't know everything, and you keep getting it wrong, time and time and time and time after again. You're not demanding anything. You're not getting any of your demands. What are you doing? Y'all raised all that money for Kamala. So you went to school, got educated, gave all this money away to Kamala doing what? What? Anyway, but like I said, we as a community politically have to close the doors and get things in order and sever real clean, like with a samurai blade, like that connection with the Democratic Party, seriously, because it serves no purpose. It's a total waste of time. It gets people emotional, and they sound stupid, quite honestly, because they don't believe anything that's not in their realm. And I don't say this much about Republicans because I've already hammered. I've been hammering them from the beginning. All 2000 and on to the Bush years. They've been got the business. That's why I always say it's time for the other side to get the business just as bad.
Well, you got to remember, a lot of these people didn't know you back then. So for them, all they see is it one way. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
but
that's why, I mean, every now and then, just like right now, give them that little reminder that, hey, I've been giving them the business, because a lot of people they don't know that, so they just perceive it as you're only going one direction. And I want those shout out to Cool Blue 71. I don't know if we acknowledged you, but I just want to say what's up. But yeah,
the ideology stuff only really exists on the internet, because in real life, obviously off the internet, you have to be able to move in different rooms, and you have to be able to do what you have to do to, keep the lights on or feed your family and stuff like that. So a lot of this ideological stuff is just online, because very many people, they ain't willing to live their ideology out. Not at all.
Agreed. And what's up, Myra's mom? I see you out there. Let me
Myra?
show this video real quick. I mean, I agree, because I'm like, I don't even, unless I'm online, I don't run into these types of people. And honestly, the ones who are that hardcore Kamala types, most of that stuff is TikTok. And I ain't been on TikTok in a minute, even though I have a TikTok. I find that everybody is either Team Blue or Team Red. There's not much room. If you start talking anything outside of that, TikTok doesn't like to share your videos. So I'm like, I see what y'all on. Y'all on the red, blue. Okay, cool.
And let me say this about the black men who are going hard for Trump. I get it. You don't like the other side. They bamboozled you. They lied to you. They've done all the aforementioned things. However, you diving head first over there is, thanks, Warren. You diving head first over there onto that side. All of you look stupid. All of the grifters on the internet, who praise Trump as if that's their daddy, they're pathetic too. They have their facts on some things, but they're just not educated on a number of things. And I'm not talking about college degree, high school diplomas either. They're just not educated in a lot of things. They're not really worldly, or even set up to understand worldly things, or things that are outside of their immediate sphere. They have hard times understanding, if you will. So I don't think that I'm, not looking at them. They're all foolish, all of them. Like, did you see the the robot security that Trump has.
Oh yeah, I saw what you sent me. Yeah.
And one of the dudes is hyping it
Oh,
up like, look, Trump
yeah.
Trump got the best security done. Look at this thing there. Because he got Crypto, the robot dog, now doing security. Now it's cool. You know what I mean? Now, let that have been Biden, right? Oh my God, Terminator. Oh, Skynet. Ah!
But that goes, I don't know who said it in the chat, but that goes to what they were just talking about. It might have been Hamza. The reason why, you know, they want Trump in there is because they can pass a lot more of the shit through with Trump in there because his base is going to stand down. Whereas with everything that, you know, if it was coming out under Biden, they would be scrutinizing every little thing. Ruby says she hasn't seen it. Pull it up, Chris, so they can see that. But yeah, they got the dog outside of Mar-a-Lago. Or wait a minute, I can pull it up too.
You got it. Yeah, the New World Order tweet by Elon. You know, correct it, Trez.
Yes, they are. They
That's
don't
a
even realize
fact.
what's coming. They don't even realize what's coming. And they're gonna be sitting up there just smiling for like big dumbasses. But whatever. A lot of people will.
I don't know how, but Chris, to that point, how can you forget about what the Republicans have done when Barack Obama was president? He only became president because of what the Republicans did and how bad they were.
Yeah.
They were so screwed up that they took a dude in the year 2004.
Ain't playing around. Are you kidding me? How do you say Elon Musk is making sure our president stays safe without saying Elon Musk is making sure our president stays safe? MAGA, baby. Oh, yeah. President Trump ain't playing around. Are you kidding me?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, damn. Elon Musk.
Yeah. It started on its own.
No, this right here is, again, this is not the first time that these robots have been used. The dog. This is not the first time. You know, they did it. Remember Christopher Dorner? That was his name, right? And that's David Harris Jr. Like his name should be David Sucker Dick Jr. or Senior or something, because that's all he does. Oh my God. I want to say I'm embarrassed, but whatever. But literally, if he's, they had the undercover agent named Deep Throat. That's what he is to Trump. Jesus Christ. If he could get a job in the White House, he would gladly sign up for the Deep Throat position and mean that shit literally. That's how some of these niggas act. It's quite embarrassing. It's really. No, it's not embarrassing because they're not like us. So no, it's just whack.
Yeah. Oz asked, "What's the dog doing?" It's supposed to be doing perimeter checks.
Exactly. Chris's name. Those are all the dogs that came out of Soundwave.
Let's see. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to share because his assessment. It's damn it! I didn't mean to do that. What the heck did I just do? Close that.
He would. That's how he acts. That's how a lot of them black dudes act who support Trump.
So this is the clip I was telling y'all. The funky academic. This is like the last thing I got. I don't know what if Chris has anything extra after this. So we won't run too much over. Let y'all run over and go check out Warren's stream. But I wanted to play just like a couple of minutes of what Armin had to say, the funky academic. So he made a very interesting assessment on how white women are responsible for Trump, actually. So here, I'll let it play. Let me mute up.
His own mama. Now, think about America. My name is Yosef Frimpong, and let me tell you, white women have been delivering for Donald Trump ever since his own mama. Now, think about 2016 when Hillary Clinton's team wanted Donald Trump. They wanted and angled for Donald Trump to be the GOP nominee because they thought he was going to be beatable. And then what did white women do? They voted for Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton. Then we go to those same white women tarred and drove away other people by tarring anybody who supported Bernie Sanders as a Bernie bro. Then, you know, all their sisters who they wouldn't talk poorly against voted for Donald Trump. All right. Now, to be clear, we don't say Bernie bros have internalized a working class identity or somehow confused about their interest. No, we just thought that they were bad people. But when the white women vote for Trump, they are internalized misogyny or voting against their interests. I just don't think we understand the interests of white women. I think those white women know exactly what their interests are, and their interest lies with their fathers and their sisters, their brothers and their sons, and the inheritance lines, and all the people who protect them, which are the white strong men that they vote for. I don't think they're stupid. So white women delivered for Trump in 2016. They delivered for Trump when they delivered him in 46, whenever he was born. And they delivered for him in 2024. They did it in two ways. And this is fascinating and why I did this video, because they didn't just deliver it to him by voting for him. They delivered Trump the election by screwing up the Democratic Party, by making the Democratic Party the party of abortion only. The party of abortion and liberal feminism. So go ahead, drive away everyone except college-educated white women, who drive away anyone who cares about like jobs, drive away anyone who cares about organized labor in a meaningful way, drive away anyone who cares about production and what that means for the economy and services, and just keep the liberal feminists and the abortion on demand folks. Make that the Democratic agenda in a way that overwhelms every other concern and relegates that to a tertiary concern. And then put that against Trump, who then gets to run on everything else. Don't forget, Trump, by the end of the campaign, ended up to be the anti-war candidate.
Yo. Marcus, I have a question for you and the audience.
Oh, I guess I was muted. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, so dude that mentioned organized labor, right? All of these concepts about labor, it's easier to understand when things are tangible. Going forward, what does organized labor do? Like, what does that look like in the 21st century?
I mean, there's still some of it.
So what do you do?
It's not as strong.
Uber drivers unionize?
No, like dock workers, you have steel workers, like
yeah,
where I am. You got Boilermakers in my industry, pipe fitters. I mean,
I'm saying those are those are the Mohicans, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying they're the last. Going forward, where do they fit in?
What do you mean?
Organized labor. What are you going to organize around? What is the, before it's like you had auto workers, steel workers, all of these, heavy manufactured jobs that require, people, In the 21st century, what does that look like, though? I'm asking you.
I mean, because you still have some of those. I mean, that's part of why she lost places like Michigan. Because a lot of them just jump right over and voted for Trump. They don't feel like you're supporting at all their interests because there's still industry in the Midwest. Now, how much will it be in the future? That's a different question. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. What does that look like when if you're not gonna own anything and you're gonna be happy?
No, but I think overall the point that he was making is that when you dial down
No, not him.
on yeah. Oh, yeah. I think like overall that and I mean, I guess I guess I can let him play a little bit more. But he's basically saying that when you double down on feminism and abortion and make that your only planks that you care about, then you throw out all the rest of the coalition that might have been for you. You're not focused on economics. You're not focused on labor unions. You're not focused on. That's why I said even though a lot of them have been full of shit even back to Clinton, full of shit. He didn't do anything he wanted to do for those people. He ended up actually the industry he helped out more than anybody had to deal with the tech industry and communications. That's where his focus went towards. But he made the appeal as if he cared about all of these different labor unions, the machinists, all of these different groups, which they don't care about. And what he's saying is under Kamala and basically white women, they have pushed even the rhetoric of trying to do that stuff away. And when you do that, you lose those voters. And so basically, and I would have added, maybe he didn't want to go there, but I would say you focused it on abortion, identity politics, and LGBTQ. You made that the three focuses and planks of the Democratic Party. Now, I'm not saying that those aren't policies that they could keep and hold on to, but you can't make that the top three and the only things to focus on. I mean, they used to say it all the time. It's the economy, stupid. If you are not trying to focus on the economy and all of these other issues, I mean, she basically punted on foreign policy completely. So you don't have foreign policy, you don't have the unions, you don't have, I mean, what you're really only running on a couple of identity politics points.
No, you're just running on he's Trump.
Well, and that.
That's it.
Yeah. So
look, you just mentioned these very like issues, if you will, compared to like overall things, right? And I don't mean like because I don't want women feeling away, but you understand what I mean. Like you ran on those things, and just it's frivolous. So again, they just thought like we could really look because they figured that how many people said, "Hey, I would vote for a fire hydrant over Trump." They figured that sentiment was, just pervasive amongst the populace.
Well, I would also make the argument. I would also make the argument they focused on who they feel the base is. And their case is mostly the women who were in their teenage years doing Roe versus Wade. You focused on a bunch of 60 and 70-year-old women and appealed to them on sexism and abortion and all that shit like that, where the rest of the electorate, you weren't appealing to them. And that's why I say the DC brain. These people were getting paid all this money and they only talk to these people in this little clique. And that's why I feel like they're so disconnected. Yes, do they pay money to all these people to be engaged in all this other stuff? Yes. But when it comes down to it, if the campaign advisors and these people who they pay these big dollars to run their campaigns, if they don't implement any of this other information, I mean, I mean, you don't think Kamala is out there out in these streets listening to anybody? They all just wait for what their analysts are going to tell them to do. The only exception, I would say, that Trump's orbit of people that he's listening to is much larger. And also he talks like a regular guy, talks like a regular person. And even if he's lying and full of shit, I think that that's going to appeal to more people. Abby says abortion is very important to us. So is healthcare, education, the economy, and inflation. Add black to that, and it's the police, state, and reparations. That's what I'm saying. They did not run on that though. They ran on abortion as the main issue, and what I saw on many polls, abortion was number 4 on what people voted on. It was the 4th issue on what people were voting for. So if that was the 4th most important issue, immigration actually wasn't even the highest. Immigration was like 5th on a lot of those polls or exit polling. What I saw was number 1 and number 2, what most people cared about more than anything: economy, inflation. And if they've ascribed that the economy and inflation are bad because of the Democrats, and you made no case on what you were going to do to improve it, saying everything is great, good case to why you lost. Can't tell everybody, you can't tell everybody it's great and they're telling you it's not, and think that that's going to be successful.
Now, that's it.
Oh yeah. There's a little bit more that he was going. I mean, that's kind of me summing up my views, but I mean, and me adding a little on. I'm playing like maybe like one more minute of this.
Yeah, because I was going to say I got a very interesting story I want to end on, because it's a little more attention getting than this. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I'll let him finish and then I'll hand it off to you.
If Trez is here,
which is absurd, but because white women had abortion on the brain, that it left all of this room for Trump to be the anti-war candidate, while we're like welcoming the Cheneys who got us into the Iraq War. So this is what happens. So what you have is white women screwing up the Democratic Party and then voting for the Republican Party. And then all of that's fine. All of that's fine. They get to do what they want to do, but they have the audacity, the nerve to blame everybody else. Oh, it's racism. Oh, it's misogyny. No, it's you people. It's you people. It's you people and your inability to learn from your own mistakes and your inability to be held accountable. Being in coalition partners with you at a political level is like running the nation with a 6-year-old. Like, you don't take accountability. It's your commitment. Like the dubious commitments of professional class white womanhood are just ridiculous. Dubious commitments of white womanhood are just absurd. You have no business. I was okay with everything else until you have the audacity to blame men for this election. You screwed up the Democratic Party by making it the party of single issue abortion, and picking a candidate who really can't talk convincingly about anything else, but she could talk convincingly about abortion. You could see that she believed in it. She couldn't really talk convincingly about jobs. She couldn't really talk convincingly about production and work, and she was a war hawk. She gave every sense that she's going to get us into more wars and supply any other bad person who wants to get us into wars. All right, so
You're on
Sorry.
mute.
I'll leave it at that on him. I mean, because he goes into more breakdown, which I agree with. And it's like, think about it. One of the biggest issues that Republicans ran on that pissed them off was wokeness. Who is the leaders of the wokeness stuff? The Robin DiAngelos and all of them. They're the ones who are pushing the agendas in a lot of this stuff. And they're the ones who are hopping on saying, oh, it was sexism, it was racism, it was men, it was this, it was that. The same ones who you just talked about, black women hopping on blaming black men. Where are they getting this from? From white women. And it's like, so y'all go over, y'all fuck up the Democratic Party. Y'all tell them, don't listen to those crazy socialists and communists and all them. Don't worry about economics. Let's just worry about identity politics. We're going to worry about abortion. We're going to worry about trans rights. We're going to worry about, DEI. That's the stuff we're going to worry about. And we're going to run on these handful of issues. And then when it comes down to it, then majority of them going to flip over, or half of them at least going to flip over and then vote for Trump. So yes, you can blame white women in two different directions. The ones on the Democratic side and the ones their counterparts who voted against. So that's why I'm like, y'all want to put the blame on black men and this person and that person. Go over there to this group of people who are never held accountable. Even when they put a white woman up, they didn't even vote for her. So that's what I was going to say on that. Huh? Oh, sorry. What
I said that they did just not enough of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They need to be, if they're expecting for black people to vote in 80 and 90%, y'all should have been able to get at least 60, 70. But y'all didn't. Mm-hmm. If y'all would have got 60, 70, y'all would have won. Hillary would have been president. But y'all didn't.
What they get, like 25 or 27?
I don't know, but it wasn't good.
Maybe 40. Maybe it was 40 something.
Maybe about 40. I think it was about 40.
And with white men, it was like 74 to like 26. Ew. You chased them out. Mm-hmm. What do you want me to say? Yo, have you heard about what's going on in the country, Equatorial Guinea?
No.
With their prime minister? His name is...
I heard anything about it.
Marcus, this is the wildest story. This is a good one to end on because the jokes write themselves. This, man, if I'm just pull it up, Dredd. Yo, let me just... This is the, like, prime minister or somebody over there in the country, right? My man is, like, got caught with sleeping with the wives of everybody in his circle, bro. Oh, Marcus, the stories, the videos, yo, it is insane. I can't believe you didn't hear this because all the jokes and memes have been they've been out of control. I don't know. I think Atrez may have heard of it, but let me see if I could pull up the good video. I thought I had it. Oh, here it is. Hold on.
I'm still here. I'm just going to click my camera off real quick.
Fraudulent. Hold on, y'all. Watch. I'm put the video up. Hold on. Watch this. This is a crazy story. This talk about Bill Clinton. Nah, this Clinton ain't got nothing on homeboy. Clinton ain't got nothing on homeboy. The
so
guy
they carried out the investigation, and the investigation being mixed up. This man, Baltazar Bangegonga of Equatorial Guinea, was not arrested because of all those knacking tapes. This man was arrested because in his office, they were suspecting him of being fraudulent. So they carried out the investigation, and the investigation led them to his house. Why they were looking for evidence, document, and everything to prove that it was fraudulent, that was when they came across those tapes, those over 300 and something tapes. Now, a lot of things, men, especially men, I need to learn from this thing. If you watch those videos, like me, I get over 80 of the videos, right? If you watch those videos, none of those women were forced. None of them were forced. None of them were minors. As a matter of fact, some of those videos, now the women, they even adjust the camera. Then they look the camera face, they laugh. Those were people's wives, the president's daughter, people's wife, people pregnant wife. Do you understand? There was no jazz, there was nothing. And before you think the man is using his influence of his political office or is using influence or maybe he has money to knock all those people, it's not true. Because the Attorney General of the Federation wife did it. So if you knock the Attorney General.
So, in case you guys aren't following, this dude has been going around busting everybody, wife, mistress, girlfriend, daughter, down on camera. The government called, talk about Diddy party, Diddy list. Marcus, they found over 400 tapes of this guy and random women. I don't know if it's probably not 400 women, but these are married women who are recording the videos with him. Like the homeboy said, they adjusting the camera in some of them, like, nah, film me this way. It looks better like this.
I'm trying to read through this list. Like, wow, the wife of the director of the presidential security, the attorney general's wife, the daughter of the director general of police, the wife of his pastor's little brother, his godfather's wife, his century's wife. Wow. 15 friends of his younger sister. Oh my God, that's the big brother that you want to keep away from your friends. This dude is smashing everything. His pastor's wife. So he not only messing with his brother's pastor, that his pastor's wife too. The wives of several ministers, including Minister Aburu, his own little brother. Oh man, you not only mess with his little brother's pastor, his little brother's wife too. His uncle, and you messing with the pregnant wife too. Wow, this dude is foul.
Yo, the videos are creating such a scandal in the country because men are now going around looking at these videos, seeing they shorties. The one video that went viral was this guy looking at the video talking to his girl like, yo, what'd you do the other day? She was like, oh, nothing, I ain't do nothing. And the whole time he's filming, you could see the video is her in the phone, even as he's talking to her. So then he then shows her the phone as he's talking to her like, yo, this ain't you. And shows her the video. Yo, you could see life left her body, dog. Like, she went soulless. Like,
I need to find that. I need to find the clips. I'm surprised my boy ain't talked about this shit yet. Chisel.
No, he's on film. There are so many videos all over the internet and all the while. And then look, what just happened? His wife also participates because there's a video with somebody smashing his wife floating around the internet. It's like these people just got cameras on their phones or something. But
this is reminding me of that pastor that we covered. Remember that pastor that was that he was making the girl strip, and he got in the bathtub, and he was like, "I need to wash the sins off of you." Oh wow!
Oh, hold on. So let me just play a little bit more of this and we get out of here.
Yeah.
Now the federation wife, that one go get money, obviously. President's sister, the president daughter did it. In that one, the IG of their police did it. So it's not influence, or it's not money. These women were willingly giving their kwekus to this man. Do you understand? It's seek consent 100%. Why? If you go deeper, you see men.
Oh, he went deeper.
A lot of now we just marry wife now, keep for house, now go neglect them, now bring money for food, give them money for school fees, make them don't buy clothes. If you say that the only thing where women need, women like attention, they need attention, give them attention. I'm pretty sure that man saw the loopholes of their husbands, and immediately he proposed all those things to those women. They were okay. They were happy. The camera did their face. They didn't care if this video will ever come out. They spread leg. Some of them are then carry their own saliva, put for the to for the guy. Yes. The one will even get Belelo send.
This man's superpower is finding out how to smash your girl. That's his superpower. He just look at you, be like, you know what? You don't massage her neck. I got you. I got you.
Yo.
He just looking at women, just sizing them up.
Yo, the videos are ridiculous. I promise. I promise.
Oh,
Yo,
boy.
and you could just, yo, they are, the women are so happy to be on camera, like they're just, and they're married. They got,
yo, it's a swinging party up in here. That's what happened.
I'm surprised that dude is not dead. Like, I'm surprised there's not a bunch of husbands who, you know, running up on him. But then again, the husbands are probably busy doing whatever they doing. That's how come those. That's why the wives are free to go.
I know. The video. I know what the wives were doing. Never mind. I shouldn't pull that video up. I'm like, I know what the wives were doing. I mean, I know what the husbands were doing while they wasn't around and attending.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a video I just saw about a woman who she smashed 101 dudes in one day.
See, that's insane.
That's where they were at. I mean, this dude smashed probably about 100 wives and husbands. He just like looking at him like it's like if he got the vampire influence power and he just using that shit on everybody. He like, every woman I run into, they can get this. I'm surprised he ain't got like a couple random ones, like the lady at his deli, like her too, and maybe the lady he pick up donuts from in the morning, maybe her too. Like throw a couple of extra ones in there. He probably do got a couple. Yep, the husband's out smashing something. In fact, of course, I just thought about it. That might be how he's getting them. He got evidence that they out there cheating. Mm-hmm. And so he like, I mean, he getting his own. You might as well get yours on too.
Look, ironically, and this is going to sound bad, and yeah, this is on purpose. Even the BBC is reporting on it.
Yeah, they like, look at these niggas down in Africa. Look at what they into. Oh, of course the BBC covering. They can't wait to cover that shit.
You already know.
They like, oh, we got to cover this shit. Look at this buffoonery going on down here. Let me see if I can find that. I probably shouldn't show that because I'm like, but that put me in the same mindset after seeing this one. This lady here This is where is it at? I saw this and I said, "Oh shit, you putting something on too?" Oh, my bad.
Yeah, real quick. It says,
see, 101 guys in one day, and guess what? For the new year, she trying to hit over 1,000. She putting out the call right now. It is y'all interested in joining the party.
Wait, put that back up.
Oh man, I said, whoa, she wilding. Yeah, 101 guys in one day. You see that on the bed? Just rappers all over the place.
Jesus Christ.
Here, actually, you know, here, I'm gonna play a little bit of it. Hold on a second. Let me mute up.
Jesus.
I was for letting 23 guys run a train on me with my friend Bonnie.
Hey, flag on the play. Whoa, ma'am, what you talking about? You let 23 dudes run a train on you with a friend. Hold on.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, God damn it, I'm not.
Now, that video is actually out now, so if you want to go check that out, you know where to go. But if you want to be a part of the next one, I'm actually guys in one day.
And you filthy motherfucker.
These hoes ain't got no manners. Whoa, hold on. First off, you recruiting individuals? What part of the game is this to make matters worse? How you go from 23 to 100? Shorty thinks she the stock market of dicks. You got a 5X your doggone outcome in more ways than one. Ma'am, what kind of cum thumbs to Olympics is this?
Oh, what a sick freak.
Morning. So today is
I told you yeah. Oh my god, yeah. It's a hot yo. I'm gonna skip it to the end so you can hear that last part. Yeah, man. I saw this. I watched this before the show. I was dying. I was like, oh, she's nasty. So let's see. Let me mute back up. By the way, if y'all don't know about Chisel Adonis, y'all need to find out.
This makes absolutely no sense, fam. We've lost the plot. This is ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. I recognize hoes, whores, sluts, harlots have existed for eons. But this is starting to get ridiculous. Do what you've got to do in the shadows. We don't need you in the public eye, let alone documenting it in real time on a global platform to where you can damn near encourage individuals to go and partake, because call it what it is. Despite the fact that you don't have to outwardly say, hey, I would like you guys to be like me and do this, if you're able to find yourself living an incredibly lucrative kind of life based off of these kinds of nefarious actions, people are going to want to get that lifestyle by any means possible. So even though you're not saying, you're trying.
person ever to reach 4 digits of guys all in one day. Yes, 1,000 guys. Now this is going to be a ticketed event, so make sure you follow for more details. I want you to be a part of this.
Did she just say 4 digits? Like 1,000? You're aiming for 1,000? Hold on, let me go run in a hurricane real quick.
Yo! What the fuck?
Yeah, she says she wants to do 1,000 in a day.
Good luck. And, you know, to the 1,000 dudes participating And good luck. I mean, y'all be part of some record-setting thing, but good luck with that. I'm straight on that. Yo, Yipper said professional meat sleep.
Oh my god. Oh, I don't imagine what that room smell like, too.
I mean,
Did she had like a little thing on her lip too, and she was talking about it's not a herpes, it's a guy, he bit my lip. One of the guys bit my lip. And at the same time, she was talking about my eye is burning a little bit from all the fluids that have splashed on my face.
Yeah, that's a bit much, but again, to each their own. Enjoy yourselves, you know what I'm saying? I would say be safe, but it's too late, clearly. So just, I guess, enjoy yourself. And between her and Homeboy, they found almost 400 tapes of him.
Yo, they need to hook up.
400 tapes. I guess, because 400 tapes. Look, I mean, I'm not going to speak on my 400 tapes. That's crazy.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, she's gonna have to be like, she's gonna have to take some breaks, or I mean, I wonder how that's gonna work. Is everybody gonna like go in there and try to treat it like it's some NP and try to, or are you just gonna just go in there and in and out? Like, what you? How
That's
you
what it's
handle
gonna
that?
have to be. She be like, yo, everybody get 3
you
minutes
got dudes
apiece.
waiting on you. 3 minutes apiece. Woo.
That's what she gonna have to do something like that.
Damn.
I mean, five minutes max. I
Pikachu.
mean, she gonna have to have a fluffer too.
Yo,
I don't know. Y'all, hopefully y'all know what a fluffer is. She gonna need a fluffer too. Maybe a couple of fluffers.
That's, I don't even know how. Exactly. You think you're a freak until you meet the freaks, and then you realize,
you
like,
meet
okay,
a real freak.
I'm playing. Let me just go about my business.
Yeah, man, you know what that means.
Want to set a record like that.
You know what a fluffer is, Audris.
Trez is
he a shit starter always.
like a deli. Handling a lot of meat.
Oh, that's one of the jokes he said in there. He was like, why Shorty look like she got the DMV over here? It was showing like she was walking through showing all the guys' shoes.
Yo, I don't even know, son.
Yeah, she gonna need.
I don't know.
She gonna need a team of fluffers over there. I mean,
so what do you do, like, as the dude, and you're like, how is there a line?
Yeah, she had a line.
So imagine being like number 26 on the line. You just, yo, son, last night watching the game, you just moving up in the line. Yo, man, KD was going crazy. Who was Tatum? Oh, yeah. Oh, damn, dog. He really beating her.
Yeah, you be like,
yo, what the hell?
I think I'm getting close. I can hear it.
Yeah.
I hear cheeks smacking.
Yeah, right.
Some of them was probably get close, like, oh, I can smell it.
Yo, dog.
Woo!
Yo, dog.
It's smelling like straight bumblebee tuna up in here. Motherfucking Red Lobster. Oh man. Hey, y'all can blame this on Chris, man. He went down this road. No, I don't know about that. I ain't never been to one of them. I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, no, not those.
Oh yeah, he ain't seen a real one.
Saying, like,
he ain't seen a
that's
real
not a sex
red light.
party.
Red light district is wild.
Abby, that's not a sex party. That's something different. 1,000. You're trying to break a record. 1,000. Just imagine 1,000. Think about it. You maybe to the freaks listening, paying attention. You know, you might have slept with a couple people in a day, maybe 3, 4, maybe, right? Imagine doing 1,000. That's insane.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of the dudes probably
But
had.
no,
You gotta have a bouncer too, because some dude gonna try some nasty ass dude. What if he trying to sneak back in line?
All right. Yeah. I guess you gotta be like, get and go.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, what do you have a certain phase you get to? You be like, all right, now everybody take off your pants at this stage. We got to make sure we can get you in and out real quick. Go on ahead. You guys can take your shoes off now.
Again, I'm straight on that. That's a bit much. That's a bit much. Yeah. You know, again, that one is a bit much. That's a lot of sword swinging. And I'm straight on that. Like,
yeah,
that's a bit too much.
I mean, you got them weird ass places
Will
overseas.
She serve 3 at once? Hey, right? I mean, that could be
shit. Sloppy seconds, no sloppy 45ths. Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
The best thing.
79th.
And you know, splashed all over the place. I mean,
fights break
you
out.
probably ow, what did I touch? Oh, everything is sticky up in here. But you know what? Let's just stand up.
Oh God. Oh.
And you know, at least one dude probably been saving up all month for this.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that's a lot just to think about. Like 1,000 men to even line up in a day.
That's what she's planning for. That is what
straight
she is
sausage party.
She didn't like be like, hey guys, I'm gonna go 200. She just skipped straight to 1,000.
Yeah, she didn't say $150 or 110 or 120. She like, I'm gonna go 900 more.
I mean, she got to like practice all year to like build up the resistance or whatever.
Yo, she must just take a shot of heroin and just be like, yo, just lube me up. I'll be asleep. Wake me when it's over type shit. Or she put herself into a coma. So they could all just be like, what's the dude from Kill Bill? My name's Buck, and I like the foot. That was him?
Mm-hmm.
He said something like that? Yeah. That's the only way you could do that shit.
That's
you decide who goes first. No, I never
No.
watched them porns. Them porns.
I mean, I heard about it. What was that? Back in the day, they had one called
Gangbang,
was
but
it Debbie Does Dallas or something like that?
yeah, some shit. Yeah, like I've seen them, but I'm not like I never watched them do the whole room. And plus, again, you just watching all them shits. Nah, I'm straight. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I guess that gives a
But I've
whole
seen them.
whole new meaning to Yelp reviews. She's probably in there yelping and all kind of stuff.
Oh, kind of. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know if it's literally all a Dallas, but it's just I remember it got famous because they like first time they put it in like a movie theater or something. Man, you're like, what are y'all talking about? Yeah, man.
Oh man, we was talking about first it started off the dude from Equatorial Guinea, the government person there who got caught with like almost 400 videos of him sleeping with all of the other politicians' wives and president's wife and all the rest of it, and they got all this shit on video. So there's a big scandal going on over there. Dude's name is Itonga. I can't remember his last name, but Itonga. But yeah, he got busted, and then Marcus put us on to this video where Shorty said she's gonna break her record of her previously held record of 100 men in the night. She gonna do it one better and push her limit. She gonna try to go Super Saiyan 3 or Ultra Instinct and do 1,000 men in the night. So she trying to go Super Saiyan the hose.
I mean, the 100 already took her from like 9 in the morning to like 10 at night. I don't know, like, how does this work?
So she just gonna be a. She just gonna be a body. Oh.
I mean, what's she gonna do? Get up at like what 3 in the morning and start and go till midnight? And I mean, just what 24 hours?
Okay, so that was
she gonna fall asleep. She
so
gonna fall asleep.
Dingo said, okay,
she
just
be
did the
numb.
math. If she do one at it, she'll okay. So less than 2 minutes per dude. So basically, you got to go in there, handle your business as fast as possible, get in, get out. That's it. You can't even do. You just got to go in there, already pretty much ready to let go. Jesus.
Actually, you probably not even gonna get to let go. You just okay, now stop. They probably gonna have to finish in the fluffers.
But I wonder what they're counting. But what? Okay, I guess yeah. Because I'm wondering what counts, just insertion or?
I'm guessing that's what it's gonna have to be.
Does he have to? Yeah. All right. Damn.
But to get 1,000 dudes that last under 2 minutes, I don't know about that though.
Right.
You gonna have a couple in there that's gonna go an hour on her.
You gonna have some, yeah, like yo, you better hurry
at
up.
Least,
See, isn't that worse than when the train is happening? Yeah, isn't that worse than somebody running the train and then they want to make love? Like, dude, just handle your business and move the hell on for the next one. What are we doing?
Gonna be somebody rushing there. Get off of her. Yeah, an hour in that hallway. Wow.
He said an hour in that hallway.
Man,
yo, straight up, man. But you know, that's all we got. We just wanted to end with some funny shit because we was talking about Trump, immigration, Kamala, Democrats, all of that other shit. All the things that are somewhat important. you know, this is not, and it's a Saturday night, and you know, we just got to laugh sometimes. You know, tell your everybody who's watching, who's here watching, please tell all of your Democratic voting friends and family members who took this seriously to chill the fuck out. Tell them to put down their phones, get off the internet. Probably some of your people got secret Twitter accounts that that you don't know they have. Just advise them to put the phone down, just chillax. You know, they'll be all right. You know, the sun will come out tomorrow.
And I want to tell Abby and some of the newer people, this is not a one-off. We do occasionally talk about some crazy shit. We always try to mix it up, throw a little bit of humor in there, especially when it's some, you know, serious, super serious stuff, or we got a whole lot of like depressing shit to talk about. Because sometimes, you know, you got the news. We can't decide what the news is going to be. It is what it is. So, I don't know. Maybe we got a weird sense of humor, but hey, y'all having fun, right? But I don't know. That's that said, we can go on ahead and close it out. Again, much appreciation for everybody who's came to join us. Like Chris has coined the phrase, you can be anywhere else, but you're here with us, and we appreciate it. We value. We much love for all of y'all, and all those different great content creators who have hopped in here. Abby do, Abby don't. Thomas was in here. Warren, which after here, make sure you guys go hop over to Warren's stream. Go catch him, show him some love. Willie Bragg, and Wheezy. Shout out to Wheezy and Emmanuel. We need to get you on here one of these days. Again, it's always a good conversation. And it's always good to have all you guys in here. And that said, y'all all be safe. Y'all have a good week. And keep in mind.
Last thing, hold on.
Yep.
Marcus, look. I'm reading off this tweet from Trump. It looked like it's from a couple hours ago. I'm very surprised the Democrats who fought a hard and valiant fight in the 2020 election, raising a record amount of money, didn't have lots of money left over. Now they're being squeezed by vendors and others. Whatever we can do to help them during this difficult period, I would strongly recommend we as a party, for the sake of desperately needed unity, do. We have a lot of money left over in that our biggest asset in the campaign was earned media. And that doesn't cost very much. Make America great again. Damn, dog. This dude said, I'll pay your debts, bitch.
Wow. I mean, shit, he still got a lot of debts he got to pay his damn self, but that's trolling on a different level. That's trolling on a different level. You tell your campaign ally, I got you. I'll pay your tab since you're a broke ass. Even though you got way more money than me.
Yo, that's killing them with kindness. Like, I got the bill here. Don't worry about it. Don't even trip.
But also another thing is also brilliant in another way, because it shows in this time, instead of him being like, I'm going to lock him up and do all this, and she's a criminal, and I know she's a part of people coming after me. He's not taking the route of the lock him up route that he did in 2016 with Hillary. And I think that's going to go a long way towards helping him out. I mean, I don't know, maybe he could be talking to the Joe Rogans and out there or something. Joe Rogan was like, all Trump has to do is not mess this up and don't go after everybody and, govern like you're governing all Americans. Don't make it just about, about the main hardcore MAGA.
I guess the question is he going to revert back to listening to Bannon or not? Because that's really who the architect of that was. At least a lot of the harsher rhetoric was Bannon.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. If he does do it, man, he could really mess people up, because if you get the people who are critics of him and very skeptical of him to be like, you know what, wasn't that bad, you could go a long way. And Vance you are giving Vance the presidency if you do that. You are guaranteed that you will have 12 years of Republican presidencies, if not more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll be like,
see.
damn, you know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's only one gesture. He could turn around and do something, multiple things all effed up down the road too, just to wipe that out. But in of itself, the offer, and he didn't even, and his slight to them was not that bad. It could have been way worse. So he didn't even diss them too bad. He said, you know, I'll just give you a light jab on the way out.
Well, he's gonna have one advantage going for him anyway. Coming out of the further and further you come out of the pandemic, the economy is getting better, regardless on its own, and so that's going to work in his favor because the economy is going to just get better, even if he does. If he don't have to do anything at all, and it's still going to improve. But if he does the right things, he can help it improve more. Or if he just don't do anything at all, he's going to get credit for improving the economy. That's the crazy part. He don't even have to do anything. He's going to get credit for the economy improvement. Thus, Pence getting credit for it. I mean, not Pence, but thus Vance getting credit for it too.
Yeah, I mean, again, if people were smart, they would just really understand. It's just a matter of getting the inflation down and rates a little bit lower, and money will start moving a bit more. So that's really what it is. It's not anything that, you know, Biden or Trump can do outside of like curbing government spending. That would help, but they're clearly nobody is worried about government spending anymore. Funny how that goes, how that concern went away. But anyway.
Well, really, I would say that it's just the supply lines being opened back up, and the more and more they get opened back up and on track after being shut down all this time, because there's still stuff which is backed up. The moment that stuff is no longer completely backed up, that's going to drop the inflation too. But yeah, that's it.
So, I mean, I would hope.
I was going to tell you, Chris, by the way, I already put in my time. It's approved. I will be there for the inauguration. I'll be starting to look for my tickets now.
Oh, shit, that's right. Okay, thank you for reminding me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So for those that were saying, we're going to be on the ground in D.C. for the inauguration. That's the plan. So we're going to be going live from there. But that's it, you know. We're going to get out of here on that note. This has been the Political Matrix. I am one of your hosts, Marcus. Marcus
and I'll drive up there. It's like 12 hours.
Ew. Oh, well, then if you drive up there, then we'd have a car. So that works. Not January 6th. We'll be there the 20th.
Yeah.
But yeah, that said, y'all have a good one. Make sure you go over there and show our brother Warren some love. What?
No, I'm saying January 6th.
Yeah, we ain't trying. Hey, I already said we ain't running up in shit. Yeah. Said he get ticket. No, hell no. Time out. No, I ain't been up in that. I wouldn't be taking a ticket for just being there by myself with that. Ooh, gross. She has cooties, fellas. Cooties. Y'all remember cooties? She definitely has them. She got cooties and a bunch of other shit. She got hepatitis A through Z. That's what she got. Ugh. Just like Bernie Mac was saying, you filthy bitch. But anyway, that's it. Let me stop.
Yo, I'm going to get some food, man. I'm out here.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. We catch y'all later. Much love. Political Matrix.
All right,
Peace.
y'all.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. And like that, he's gone.